Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another tier list. Although this one in particular is quite a bit different from the usual on this channel, and one that's going to be particularly special to me. Um, what I have here is a tier list of every single anime that I have ever finished. Why'd that have to go off now? I'm so sorry. Um, yeah, it's a tier. This is a tier list of every anime that I've ever finished. Although, admittedly, some of these are a little weird because these are anime that I finished. Some of these I finished season one, and then a second season came out, and I never got around to watching it. Konosuba and ReZero for one, I watched all of season one, but I have not watched past that. Or Spy Family. It released the first 12 episodes of season one as a separate block, and then the last 12 episodes of season one, I watched only the first 12 seasons, but I still counted it as quote unquote finishing it. It's still in my list. But I wanted to just go through and just kind of talk about a bunch of anime that I've watched throughout the years. I think I started watching when I was 12 or 13. So about half of my life. So 11, 12 years. These are mostly in order of when I finished them. The only one really off the top of my head that I can see is wrong is No Game No Life. I don't know why it got moved here. Actually, let me see if I can just move that really quick. I see to find where it is in my list. Run. It's supposed to be right here. I think the red star are in perfect order, though. So, we are going to just go over everything. I'm going to have way more to say about some than others. So, this is very self-indulgent, but I wanted to kind of take a look back through all the anime and stuff that I've watched throughout the years, throughout the decade. Starting with the very first anime that I ever watched and ever completed, Lucky Star. And oh yeah, as I want to point out, these are my rankings or my tiers. Mostly because, as you'll probably come to find out, I'm typically a very positive person. There's only probably one thing in this entire list that's going to go in F, and I don't even know what's going to go in D. But so most stuff is going to be, I needed to specify because most stuff is going to be like S, A, and B. But starting with Lucky Star, let me think. So, Lucky Star, first anime that I ever watched. I binged the entire thing in just a couple of days. And it was on YouTube too. I managed to find it free on YouTube, and I watched the dub. It was my first time watching anime, so you know. Funny thing was, my introduction to anime was through my ex or girlfriend at the time, who wanted me to watch anime with her. And what I did first was I looked up anime videos, and I found like old anime cracks, which are like anime meme videos. And the one that caught my attention the most was somebody editing the Lucky Star opening. And I thought it looked really, really cute. And I really wanted to know what it was. And so I went and I found a video by Anime America or something like that. That was talking about like catchy anime intros or something like that, and I saw that it had Lucky Star on the cover or on the thumbnail. So I clicked it, learned about what Lucky Star was, and I went and watched it, and now here we are. Uh Fucking over 70 anime later. Lucky Star is such a sweet and pleasant anime. I've really been wanting to go back and rewatch it because it's so low stakes and so cute and fun, and the characters are so great, and their dynamics with each other are fun. The side characters are a little bit more lacking compared to the main characters, from what I remember. But I always remembered having a great time with them. The little like the news thing at the end with that one girl was always so funny to me. I remember when I was like, after I first watched it, I went and I compiled a video out of all of them to upload to YouTube because I noticed nobody had really done that yet. And that's probably because of copyright stuff. But I really liked Lucky Star. It's a really really good anime, and I really think more people should watch it. Um, Unfortunately, I don't have too much to say about it because I don't. It was my first anime. I don't really remember a lot of the specific details. I just remember Konata was so freaking adorable, especially. Well, all of them are, but I just love Konata so much. So, we're probably gonna keep putting it in S. I remember it being one of the best anime I've ever seen. Now, honestly, starting off with Lucky Star was probably really good for me. Starting off with such a strong anime was probably really good. And then my next anime got even better. Chunibyo. This one has a funny story. This also is related. First couple are kind of related to like YouTubers and anime cracks and stuff. Well, okay, not these three, but this one. About Chunibyo, though, there was another anime crack that I saw that had the girl the girl from Another, and I thought she was really cute, and I wanted to know what she was from. So I went and I looked up, and like anime girls with black hair and eye patches. And I found this one, and I thought this was her. I got mistaken. I thought this was her, and I watched this anime instead. And I'm very happy that I found it because I don't think I would have come across it otherwise. Because nobody talks about it. But I remember this being one of the. This anime is incredibly special to me because simply because I just adore it so very much. The characters are incredible. I love all of them and their dynamics. Rika is you're gonna see a recurring theme of cuteness. I really like cuteness. Rika's just fucking adorable. I want to give her head pats and hugs. And her relationship with is it Yuka or Yuta? I don't remember. It's been so long. Her relationship with him was so cool to see it develop. It was so fun to see it slowly growing more and more romantic to the point until you got started seeing them holding hand, the love confession, holding hands, the cheek kiss. I wish they had kissed in the anime and not like a fucking movie because that was my biggest pet peeve with this fucking anime was they didn't even end on an actual kiss. And then it took like fucking years before like the movie or OVA, whatever it was, came out, and then for me to find out about it and learn that they did kiss in it, and I actually haven't seen it because I wanted to go back and rewatch the show before I did that, and you know it's a 2-season anime. It's kind of a little bit harder to come at the time to commit to that, but it's just so fun. It was so fun. I use gifs from it all the time. The intro is amazing. It's part of one of my favorite. There's a YouTuber video, like a YouTube video edit of like it with like a song. I don't remember what it's called though, but like I just know it's like leather and skirt or something. Um, that I love so much. And I really do want to go back and rewatch it at some point because it's just such a precious anime to me. Yeah, I think it deserves its place up here. Yeah, unfortunately, again, it's another case that I don't remember a lot about it anymore. I don't, or at least the specifics. So I can't really say too much, but I definitely want to go back and rewatch it at some point. Probably with my friends, to be honest. Uh, Fantastic anime. I am taking notes. Sorry. Okay. Watamote. Sorry, I'm having a whole bunch of technical issues. Okay, so the funny thing about Watamote is yes, I watched it freaking like 10 years ago. Um, and I did like it back then. I know that it has the reputation of being one of the cringiest anime of all time, and it was, um, at the time. But the funny thing is, just recently, me and my boyfriend went and reread the manga, and we read the entire 240 chapters that are currently out because it's still ongoing after 15 years. It's like 15 years old, and it's still going. Although I think it's coming close to the end. Um, and it's crazy to the weird thing was going from Watamote, an anime about a loner who has no friends, who constantly gets herself in terrible situations, who doesn't seem like she's ever going to get friends, and then sitting with that version of the character in my mind for 10 years, I think going to the manga and reading the manga and seeing that by the end of chapter like 240, she has a large group of friends. It is like insane that going 10 years with this idea that Tomoko was always going to be a loner, that she was never going to have friends, and having that idea in mind for 10 years only to then finally see her after, like, in my mind, after all that time, finally get friends. It was so validating, and it made me feel so happy for her, and it kind of retroactively made me like the anime even more. I still thought I probably still would have given it like a B before, like a B plus, but now that I have the context of the manga and where the anime could have gone and what Tomoko is eventually going to have in her future, I can call it bias, call it unfair, but it kind of just raised it up a little bit for me. She's I'm just it's like I'm just happy for her, you know? It feels silly to say about a character, but I feel happy for her that she finally got to have that after so long. Not even that long for her, longer for me, just but after like 10 years, you know? But for the anime itself, I'm planning a rewatch of it with my friends, including my boyfriend, and I'm almost positive that's not going to feel as nearly as cringy the second time around because I'm an adult now rather than a teenager, and I feel like a lot of her cringing because reading the manga, I didn't feel any sort of like cringe at the stuff that she did in the in the original chapters. So I feel like it's only more embarrassing when you have the mindset of a younger person, like a teenager. So I'm almost positive that going back and looking at it again, it's not going to be nearly as bad for the second time around, and I'm probably going to like it even more than the second time around. I'm probably going to even raise it up to A plus potentially. It's a fantastic anime from what I remember. Really, even if it was like cringe, quote unquote, it was still fun, and I really enjoyed watching it. I remember watching it pretty quickly. And I can't wait to see the characters again in motion, especially like Tomoko. I can't wait to see her animated and voiced again after so long. I wish it had gotten more. I wish we could have met some of the other characters. At least I wish we could have gotten to the school trip, like a second season to get to the school trip. That would have been really cool. But yeah, I mean, I think if they had done that, it probably would have been enough attention to get it like more seasons. But, you know, we'll just have to be happy with what we got, I suppose. It would have been nice to at least meet Yuri and Yoshida. Okay, next up is One Punch Man, and this is gonna be... I want you to keep in mind that this ranking is going to be just for Season 1. I never saw anything past Season 1, which is probably good because I've heard it's really, really bad. So... One Punch Man, season 1. Very cool anime. The characters are incredible. Saitama is such a fantastically funny protagonist. The concept of the entire anime is really fun and something that I think was really unique and funny. and cool, and I liked the other side, like the other characters like Tatsumaki and Genos and everything. Um, Even the little like that one guy who doesn't have any like actual superpowers, he just rides a bike. Um, with all ending in like an actual like climax where Saitama has to like kind of try, and it's honestly really cool. Um, I remember just like being really impressed with how much it kind of how much it like made me happy and how much I liked it. Um, it's really a shame that the later seasons apparently got really bad. So because I would have totally I had wanted to watch season 2. I'm so sorry. It's kind of early in the morning. I had been looking forward to watching season 2, but just never got around to it. And then now you have season 3, which is like which a lot of people agree is like one of the most worst animated things of all time. Um, and yeah, I it's really unfortunate, but first season is still very good at least, and I will potentially read the manga at some point because of it. I don't have nearly as much to say about this one, really. So yeah. And next up is Heaven's Lost Property. Didn't take long for, teenager to find out about ecchi. Although funny enough, this was not actually the first ecchi that I ever tried watching. I tried watching Kill la Kill before this, and it was very funny because I remember talking to my ex, again, a good girlfriend at the time, and I remember telling her the first time that I was watching Kill la Kill, and I remember her just giving me this most disappointed look on her face, and it was so funny to me because I just like was like, oh, you found the ecchi. Oh no. But no, I didn't actually end up finishing Kill la Kill until like way, way later on, which you'll see. The first one I actually like watched and liked and finished was Heaven's Lost Property, and I remember really, really, really liking it. Nymph is super adorable. Her relationship with the main character is really good. I prefer it over. Again, I don't remember most of the names. I prefer it over the main girl, like a lot. I think Nymph is just so cute and a perfect. If I remember correctly, she's a tsundere. I think she was like one of the first tsundere that I really got to find like properly meet. Um, I guess I think there's a tsundere in Chunibyo. I can't remember. It's been so long now. But Heaven's Lost Property. Nymph was one of my favorite tsunderes that I had for a long time. Um, I think her and the main human girl are both tsunderes. Now that I remember, really liking the characters. The voice acting was really good. Although the main character now, it's like if I ever hear that dub actor in anything, I only ever think of this main character when I hear him now, and that's really funny. Um, the fan service was really good, and um, I think it was like I know Chunibyo was 2 seasons, but it felt like Heaven's Lost Property was like, it felt like the longest anime that I watched up to that point. Unfortunately, don't have too much to say about it simply because I just don't remember a lot of it. I just remember really liking it a lot, and it's definitely another one of those anime that I definitely want to rewatch at some point, especially since I never watched the movie. And apparently the movie explains a lot of stuff. So, eventually I will go back and do that. As for the placement, actually, I think I kind of nailed it on the first try. So, yeah. This one's a fun one because Neptunia, when I was younger, and there was a YouTuber that I watched, Lost Pause, and he did a bunch of anime stuff, and I saw his playthrough of Neptunia, and I watched the first episode of his playthrough. Sorry. Huh. I watched the first episode of his playthrough, and then found out there was an anime, stopped, went and binged the entire anime, and then came back and continued watching his playthrough. So by the time we got to the third game, Rebirth 3, I knew a lot of what was going to happen because because the anime is essentially just the Victory kind of remixed, which I think I prefer the story of the anime more, except for the part where they make it so that the candidates can't immediately transform. I know that this is kind of like a hot take among my friends. I've always thought that that was a really dumb plot point. I think it's really dumb that they kind of have to that they don't have it from the start because that's never been a real thing in the games from what I remember. And although admittedly, it's been a really long time since I saw MK2 or Rebirth 2. But yeah, I remember really enjoying the anime. It was like my proper introduction to Neptunia, and I think it's a really good one. I don't know if they have all the same voice actors that they have from the games, but if they didn't, then they sound very familiar, found very very similar, and it introduced me to Neptunia as a fandom, which I'm still a part of to this day, and I still really like Neptunia, and I'm looking forward to the new game that comes out. Especially Red Heart. She looks so cute. She looks so freaking cute. And Neptunia was also how I met my boyfriend, so it's a very special franchise to me, and I eventually want to make full videos over the games on this channel, actually, because I think that'll be a lot of fun to cover all of them, even the bad ones. There's definitely a lot of a personal attachment and bias to it. The anime is definitely not great. I wouldn't say there's many Neptunia games that are outright like some of the best things ever. Mega Dimension is easily the best, and that one is really really good. Which I mean, most people agree that it's the best, and that's really good. And then the rest are like they are good, but not all of them are great. And the anime kind of encapsulates that. It's good, but not like great, I guess. But it's definitely a very, very important anime to me, so I would feel bad putting it lower than this. It's just simply too special to me. Nichijou! Nichijou is definitely another anime that I really desperately want to rewatch, or at least read the manga. Probably both. Nichijou is such a strange... It's one of those brands of anime that's just overall really weird. But I think of, like, kind of the weird anime, it's probably one of the ones that is the least weird and works really well for what it is. It's very funny. Characters are very enjoyable. Side characters are enjoyable. The girl with the fucking gun always trying to shoot her crush is a really funny idea to me. And it's always just so overboard. And then you have mixed in with the girl that has the key on her back and her wanting to go to school or her being stuck with a childish creator. And Sakamoto. I think that's the name of the cat. Such a cute cat. And then eventually she does get to go to school and she gets to meet the other characters and that one girl, she gets to learn that she's a robot and like keeps her secret for her, and that's really cool. And I wish that the anime explored stuff like that more often because it was such a cool idea and well executed. And I really, really want to go back and rewatch it because it just feels like a really good anime to just kind of chill with all the stuff going on, you know? And, I'd say, yeah, we're gonna keep it here. Dragon Maid! This is another one where it is only the first season. I never went and watched the second one, though I really want to. Genuinely one of the catchiest openings of all time. Even to this day, I can still picture the entire thing in my head, and I can probably like kind of hum along to it in my head. And it's such a freaking catchy intro. The characters are incredible. Toro's crush on Kobayashi is really cute and fun, and the one girl having a crush on Kana was always one of my favorite parts of the anime. It's just so adorable every time that they're together, because it's like all this little girl is like learning what is like experiencing a crush for the first time, and she's so awkward and cute about it, and oh my god, she's so adorable. They were some of my my favorite scenes in the entire season. Just constantly just seeing her getting so blushy around anytime that she just so much as like rubbed shoulders with Kana. It was just, it's so unbearably cute. But even outside of that, all the kind of like the tension and stuff that they do start to introduce towards the end is really good. I liked all the various characters and everything were fun. The one guy interacting and kind of learning that the one like male guy is a dragon, and then them kind of just rooming together was really cool. I always loved cutting back to them and seeing what they were doing, because that was always fun. Lukua and I think it's okay. These names, I don't remember the names. Lukua and Shota, I think, is what their names were. Were always like, I didn't really care for them as much, like them and their jokes as much, admittedly. But basically, everything else in the anime was a hit, and I miss it. I really do want to go back and watch the second season. I want to see more, and probably read the anime, or read the manga at some point, because I've heard that it's really good too. I know I'm very top heavy for now, but that's because a lot of the early anime that I watched, I either have really good memories of them, some nostalgic attachment, or they're just good. Trust me, this won't stay this way forever. But you're starting to see why I had to split the tiers up between these ones. Yeah. Oh boy, Assassination Classroom, fucking incredible anime. One of the best things I've ever watched in my entire life. The anime actually concludes this. First of all, anime actually gets to conclude the entire story, which I don't think any of these previous ones have. I guess technically Neptunia, but I don't know. It's the only one that isn't an adaptation, I guess, that gets to actually conclude its story. And this was the first anime to make me cry. The ending made me cry. And this was back when I was younger. It was very, very hard for pieces of media to make me cry at all. So to have this anime that I liked so much that I was sitting on my grandma's couch watching the final episode and just fucking being in tears and having to like not be too loud so my grandma wouldn't ask what was wrong. It's such a fun memory to me, because it's so good. Like, it's so good. All the characters are fantastic. Koro Sensei is one of the greatest characters to ever be made. All of the characters, they give attention to it, like most of the class, and it's really cool. And even if I can't remember all their names right now, I can still remember like a lot of them. Like, I can remember their personalities and what they are. And Nagisa and Karma are so awesome. It was like I think it's the first time I had like a gay ship that I really like, that I actually liked. I mean, gay as in like strictly two men. I ship so much Yuri. I am. That's just how I mean, I'm a bisexual who leans towards women, so I ship women with women a lot. But this is the first time that I was like, yeah, no, these two, I really like these two together. And but Nagisa is such a fucking incredible protagonist. You're rooting for him the entire time. He's so cute, and I just want to get. He's another character I just want to give all the hugs in the world, because man, he really deserves it. All the side characters are incredible. The plot is amazing. All the ways that they do, because it feels like the kind of plot that should not have a lot of wiggle room to be really cool, but they come up with so many fantastic ideas that's it's insane. And then again, all culminating in such a fantastic ending. Oh, genuinely one of the best things I've ever watched. It was definitely one of the best. See, the thing about Chunibyo is that the more time goes by, the more fond I grow of it. But I think at the time, Assassination Classroom was probably my favorite anime at the time after I finished it. But Chunibyo definitely did overtake it eventually, just through like looking back on it, that YouTube video, the nostalgia, all of it. Okay, this next one is going to be kind of weird for me because No Game No Life is one of the most beautiful anime that I've ever watched. It up to this point, it was the most beautiful anime that I had ever watched, and even to this day, even after having watched stuff like Violet Evergarden and Oshinoko, which are two fantastically beautiful anime, I still think the style and colors and art of No Game No Life is immaculate, and so it stands out so much for how unique and beautiful it is. The story was fantastic. Builds a lot of intrigue as to what's going to happen, how they're going to like take down everybody. They always come up with clever, unique ways to do it. Every game is different. Every game is well thought out. It's insane the level of detail that goes into the planning for all these games and stuff, and the way that Sora and Shiro are able to out manipulate every single other person, despite even when the odds seem like so stacked against them. Characters are fucking fantastic. Stephanie is so adorable. Her crush on Sora, even if she would never admit it, is really fun. This I don't remember the one girl and the two other girls that like were trying to get the kingdom and everything. God, it's so fantastic, and the world is so creative and unique, making it so that you have to play games for everything, even fucking borders. That's such a unique and cool idea, and it's executed so perfectly. But the thing is, I need to be careful and only look at the merit of the anime, because I read the light novels too, and I'm up to date on the light novels, and I'm eagerly waiting because apparently the next one is finally being like written and translated and everything. Fucking after like 3 years of hiatus, so I am caught up with the light novels, and I have to try not to let that influence it too much because the anime is definitely separate and it only covers like the first three. So man, it's such a fantastic anime though. I wish it got a second season. It's the eternal joke of like it's one of the go-to anime where it's like the joke of oh it's it's season 2 of No Game No Life, even though it feels like it was popular enough to get one. It feels like it was popular enough and it's desired enough, but it just never happened. And then now by this point it's been like fucking what, 10 years, and it's not gonna happen. It's just not. And that's really sad, but it's damn, do I like it more than Chunibyo? If it was the light novels included, I would say yes, but since it's just the anime, I'm gonna say no. It's such a crazy, insane, creative idea, though. This next one, I unfortunately just don't remember it very well at this point. I know I really liked it when I watched it. Devil is Part-Timer. I know that I really liked it when I watched it, but I swear I cannot remember almost anything about it anymore. It was just kind of a mid-range anime for me. I think it was the first time that I watched an anime that I wasn't like super sold on it, you know? Like I wasn't like, "Oh, this is one of the best things I've ever watched. Holy shit, anime is so fucking cool." I think it was the first time that I was like, "Oh, I mean, it's okay, but eh." Did this get a second season? I swear to God, I don't even know. I don't even remember. If it did, I think I only watched the first one. I can't remember. But I don't have much to say about it. I remember liking it, and I feel like I probably would still like it if I from the bits and pieces I do remember. I'm pretty sure I probably still would like it if I went back and watched it again. I just have no desire to, because there's so many other anime that I would like. I would rather rewatch any of these. Maybe not One Punch Man. I don't really care that much about One Punch Man. I would rather watch any of these, rewatch any of these other ones than watch this one again. So I'm gonna put it in B minus, because simply because I don't actively remember disliking it, but I just don't remember. It clearly wasn't memorable enough for me to like. Because I remember so much, like a decent amount of all of these. Very little of this, even though I've watched it more recently than any of these. So I feel like that says a lot about it. That it just there's not a lot in my brain about it. This is also, as you can probably guess by how long ago it was, only season 1. Again, never watched the future seasons. And once again, I don't remember a lot of it. I remember the characters more than the plot, but even then, it's still really fuzzy. I remember obviously, main guy, Hestia, the one girl that carries the stuff around for him, who I think I remember being my favorite character, and I shipped with the main character more than Hestia. And then there's the girl that the main guy has a crush on, and all that. And then you find out at the end that he's like the son of a god or something like that. And it's like, oh, that's a pretty good hook for a second season. But then the second season came out so long after I watched the first one that I just wasn't interested enough in watching it that I never got around to it. Maybe one day I'll go back and rewatch it and catch up, but at the moment I don't really desire that much to. I Again, I just don't remember the plot, really. I only remember the characters, and even the characters I feel like I don't remember. However, I will say I know for sure that I definitely like this more than Devil's Part-Timer. So B plus is probably where I'm gonna leave it for now. Again, it's kind of like B is like kind of my neutral, like this is good, this is neutral, this is bad, essentially. So B is kind of like my neutral ground, and that's where these two are currently resting. Koro Sensei Quest was it was something. After going from Assassination Classroom being one of the best things I had ever watched, and then going to Koro Sensei Quest, and it is quite whiplash, I gotta say. I was really happy. Don't get me wrong, I was really happy to have more to do more of these characters. I was always happy for that, and I'll always take more over nothing, you know? It's definitely a far different vibe, obviously, and the jokes didn't land as well. It wasn't as long, it wasn't as engaging. I wouldn't say it was bad, but it's just when you compare it to its original source, it's hard to live up to something like that, you know? Funny because literally the main joke that I remember is Nagisa finding somebody finding the bikini armor or whatever, and then making Nagisa wear it, and then he was actually really into it, which is just kind of funny. The Nagisa girl jokes, it's like I understand that some people get really uncomfortable with them because of what we learn about his backstory and his mother in the main show, but I still find those jokes funny simply because he does look good as a girl. He cross dresses really well, and the fact that they even lean into it with Koro Sensei Quest, and he's like you can tell he likes it. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but I'll keep it in B minus simply because I don't think it was bad. Konosuba. This might have been season 2. I don't remember up to season 2, or it might have only been season 1. I think it was only season 1. Um, genuinely was one of the funniest things I'd ever watched. And the problem is that, like, I really liked the characters the first when I was like watching it. I really liked all the characters when I was watching it. I thought they were funny and everything. As more time has gone by, the more my disdain for Aqua and especially Darkness has grown. Because the more time goes by and the more I see masochist characters, the more, like, Darkness just comes across as such a badly written character. Or maybe not even badly written, just ungodly annoying. Like, 100 Girlfriends, you have Iku, who is a masochist. And, like, that is, like, her main character thing, is, like, the masochist and the baseball, and, you know, all works together. She's funny and good, because she is a masochist, and she wants people to, you know, hurt her, but she will never do it in a way that makes other people, like, uncomfortable, or do it in a way that betrays other people. Like, there's a scene in 100 Girlfriends where they're at an amusement park, and there's like this, and they're in a dark, and Iku is being hung from a thing, and that she has to like dive down and grab her friends in like a dark room, and she like sees this like this other thing that could injure her if she goes for it, and she gets tempted by it. She starts to move over towards it, but then her friends remind her that they're supposed to be doing so. She's like, "Oh yeah, sorry," and she goes over and picks her friends up. Darkness would not do that. She would dive in without hesitation. She would be like, "Yeah, fuck you guys. I want to get my rocks off, so I'm gonna go do this thing." And it's so fucking annoying. It's so unbelievably annoying in hindsight. I'm so sorry. I'm hitting the mic. And it just, God, it's so frustrating. But I will say that doesn't drag it down too much for me, because I still really like everything else. Megumin is one of my favorite characters of all time. This was around the time when I first learned the term waifu, so I had a few of them from this show, like mainly Megumin and Wiz. Um, and that's kind of like, it gives me a little bit of extra nostalgia for that timing. But also, just even to this day, I still like Megumin. And learning later on that Megumin and Kazuma ended up together, um, made me really want to like go and read the, not so much watch the anime, but definitely go and read the light novels. And I still do want to do that at some point because of that. Because I always thought that they were the most compatible together, and then to learn that that's actually the ship that ends up becoming like the canon thing makes me really happy. So it makes me want to go watch it or go read it, and it is genuinely a funny show. It just has it has moments of feeling too, in hindsight, it has so many moments of feeling a little bit too cruel for me to properly enjoy it sometimes. And I don't know how what the future seasons are like. I don't know how it gets. Maybe it gets better. Maybe it gets worse. I don't know. I just only know like the little bits that my friends have told me, and it's just, I don't know. I've never been really fully sold on watching more, I guess. I would rather just go and read the light novels instead, because at least I know that that's finished, you know. As for its placement, at this point in time, it's probably here. One of the lesser of my like good anime. Before, I probably would have had it in S or SS when I was younger, but at these days it's probably like it's down here. Ah, Shimoneta. What a wild anime to watch when I was a teenager. Um, it's definitely unique. It's a concept that I haven't seen done like very much elsewhere, or like at all elsewhere. It has like so much unique stuff to it. The characters were enjoyable, except for the, like, I don't know, maybe the, again, it's one of those things where at the time I really enjoyed it, but as time has gone on, the more I've thought about it, the more I've thought about the characters, the more I've thought about the anime, the lesser my opinion of it has gotten, to where the one student council president girl, you know, the one that's like overwhelmed with sexual desire, um, she stopped. Every time that I picture her now, when I pictured her back then, she was like funny to me. I thought it was funny. I thought her character was interesting. Her insane obsession over the main character was really funny and engaging. But like now at this point, I'm like, I feel like if I went and watched it now, I'd just be kind of, I find it kind of annoying. Um, Especially considering there's a scene where she almost, you know, to him. So that's a kind of, again, in the moment as like a teenager, I didn't really consider the implications of that as much, but now in like hindsight, it's like, oh, that's kind of, uh-oh. But I also remember it being insanely funny. Even to this day, I still use some of the gifs from it when I'm talking with friends and stuff, because that just had so much potential, you know, for gifs and everything. And I think if I went back and watched it again, I would not enjoy it as much as I used to. Definitely has the unique concept going for it, though. Sakamoto. Okay, so I was in an anime club in high school, right? Um, what we would do was for the first year of it, every day we would watch 2 episodes of an anime. We would watch the first episode of one anime and then the first episode of another anime, and then it would just be that would be our club. And this was the first and one of the few anime that we watched the first episode in class, and I liked it so much that I went home and I watched the entire thing. I think the only other one, there's only like 2 other. No, I think it was just Danganronpa was the only other one that I did that with. But Sakamoto is one of the funniest anime that I'd ever watched. Constantly made me laugh. Constantly, I was just wanting to watch more and more and more because it was so funny and I didn't want it to end. And I was actually kind of sad when I finished it because I was like, man, this is actually really good anime. I wish I had more. However, by now, I remember nothing about it. I remember almost zero. I remember that it was really funny. And I remember a few of the characters' faces and everything, but I don't remember anything about it. I just remember it being really funny. And I want to go back and rewatch it eventually because I remember really liking it at the time, and I wonder if I would still like it now. I would have to really be unsure. I would have to like really go back and like look at it again to know for sure, because I swear to God, I remember jack shit. So let me think. Let me think. Where would I want to put it? I feel like I normally would have put it higher back in the day, but since I don't remember a lot about it, except for the fact that it was funny, I'm gonna keep it in B plus because it's just like I trust my judgment that it was funny, but I don't remember enough about it to say anything else about like the characters or anything. ReZero. This is also another, like I mentioned before, just only the first season. Sorry if you can hear Jinx. He's here with me, my cat. ReZero. I always grouped ReZero and Konosuba together, which I mean, I think that's with good reason, and even Isekai Quartet kind of did that too. But I never liked ReZero as much as Konosuba at the time. I think if I were to watch it again now, I would actually probably flip flop on that, and I would probably like ReZero more because I think the characters are overall way better than Konosuba's. Um, uh, Rem and Ram obviously are really cool dynamics. Beatrice is fun. Amelia's okay, and then Subaru is poor guy, man. One of the most traumatized fucking anime characters I've ever seen. Um, but I remember it being so good and dramatic, and the way that they use the time travel is great. The way that Subaru gets to finally use it to kind of help everybody near the end is great. Um, and again, all the like, it's gloomy. It's definitely gloomy at times, but it always has that kind of hopeful tone to it. And the whole dynamic between Subaru and Amelia with Rem kind of off to the side trying to like fight for her love and everything is like, it's interesting for sure. And I wonder, I'm curious how that kind of stuff gets explored in the later seasons, and I definitely want to go back and rewatch it again at some point to catch up because I'm definitely interested in seeing where it goes. Um, unfortunately, don't have too much to say about it because it's one of those cases where I sadly don't remember too much of it. I remember the broad strokes, but not the more minor details and minor villain. And I remember there's that one villain that can like possess bodies and everything and all that. It was really cool. And then there was the one time where he died, and I think like Amelia died, and so her like little pet thing became a huge giant monster. And then Subaru died, and then the credits just rolled over his fucking dead body, and it was such a powerful moment. And it's like, man, I couldn't imagine that having to go through that kind of stuff, seeing everybody around you die over and over again, only to just reset and have to try again, and hope that you actually get a chance to reset, you know? Um, I definitely want to go and watch it again because I'm almost positive that I will like it more than Konosuba at this point. Okay, but I don't know if I put it that high. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna switch this around and do this. Yes, I think I prefer that order more. Now this one is another one that I am almost like, I almost wouldn't want to include it because it's Suraduri Children, and I know it was an anime about character relationships and everything, but I don't remember a single thing about it. Nothing. I don't remember a single thing about it at all. I only remember the title and the premise, and that's it. I have nothing else to say about it because. But the thing is, I don't want to put it lower because I know I liked it. I just don't remember liking it a lot. And the fact that it's probably one of the least memorable anime that I've ever watched ever. Like, I think basically all of this, I am going to have something to say about it because I have some memories of it in some way. I didn't remember that I watched this until I was like making the list. And I was looking at my list of anime. No fucking idea. So I'm gonna put it at the top of C plus because I just don't remember it. K-On! Fucking talk about a fucking banger. I want to go back and fucking watch K-On! Like, really bad. K-On! was like, with all the other stuff that I had been watching kind of around that time, I mean, you know, like ReZero, stuff like that. Going to K-On! And just being met with something so cute and pleasant and low stakes just made me so happy and brought me such joy. I watched the entire thing. I watched both seasons. I watched the movie. I want to go back and watch it again with my boyfriend, and I want to read the manga because apparently not only did the manga conclude, but they also have a sequel in college, which I'm really hoping is what happens to Watamote and it's manga. Um, I just miss the characters so much. Yui is so fucking adorable. I value cuteness a lot. Like a lot, a lot, a lot. And God, she's one of the cutest characters I've ever seen. I use gifs from her all the time because she has so many adorable moments and character dynamics were fun. Her relationship with I don't remember. I just remember Azunya. I know that's not actually her name, and that's just a nickname. It's Azus. Is it Azusa? I don't remember. But her relationship with her was always so fun, and like the movie made it so suggestive that like because she was like, oh God, does Yui have a crush on me? Oh no, and it's like I could totally see it with them potentially ending up together eventually. Um, who knows? But man, God, I miss it. I just miss it. It's one of the cutest, most comfortable things that I've ever watched, and I desperately want more of it. Um, maybe eventually, one day I'll get to see it again and read it again. But I've got other stuff that I'm currently reading and everything, so I'll get around to it eventually. And man, it kind of hurts. It kind of hurts to put it above Chunibyo with how much Chunibyo is special to me, but I think it deserves that spot above it. Monster Musume. Okay, so first harem anime that I ever watched was really good. I really like Poppy. She was my favorite from the very start, and I enjoyed her throughout the entire anime. I think she was very cute, and I want her to be with the main guy. But I did enjoy like most of the characters. I didn't really like the Spider Woman very much, but I did enjoy or like the Horse Woman as much. But I did enjoy most of the characters. Um, the thing is, again it's another case of I don't remember a whole lot about it. Um, and on top of that, I now have watching 100 Girlfriends and seeing how fucking incredible a harem show can be, or a harem story can be, it makes every other one look way worse in comparison, because now Monster Musume feels so much lesser than it used to, because it's just not anywhere near as good as 100 Girlfriends. It's good, but man, I think it was also the first anime that I ever watched that had like actual direct nudity, like nipples and everything, which that was certainly an experience for me. I don't remember how old I was. I don't remember if I was still a teenager when I watched this one or not. I watched a lot more anime when I was. It was like I watched a lot of anime when I was younger, and then middling range, I didn't. I watched very few, and then after I moved here, I've watched a lot since then. So I don't know. I don't think this is. I think this is still the early part. So I think I was still kind of like a teenager. Because once I went into college, I had just had far less time to watch anime. So, um, I just definitely my opinion of it has gone down. It's also one of the few anime that my boyfriend has seen though, so I want us to watch it together at some point because I think that'd be fun. Even with I just the idea of watching something with such blatant nudity with my boyfriend sounds really funny to me. Um, damn, I'm gonna put it. No, I'll put it here. I feel like I should have more to say about it, but I just don't. Now, Trigger Happy Havoc. Now, this anime is not good. It's not good. Everybody knows that it's not good. The writing is bad, the pacing is bad. The characters feel a little butchered sometimes. The voice acting is weird. However, this was my introduction to Danganronpa. We watched the first episode in Anime Club. I loved it so much. I went home. I watched the entire thing over the weekend. And Danganronpa is probably my favorite video game franchise of all time. And this was my introduction to it. And for all its faults, I remember really liking the anime. And admittedly, it's been a very long time. It's been like 8 years. I want to watch it again. I'm gonna be watching it again for retrospective stuff later. But this was my introduction to the series, and so I cannot, in good faith, not give it so much credit for introducing me to this franchise. Because I probably never would have come across it if I hadn't. And then that led me to Spike Chunsoft, which led me to 999 and VLR, which are really cool games that led me to 100 Line, which is one of my favorite games ever now. And yeah, I owe a lot to this anime. A lot of my relationships with my friends spurned because of because I watched this anime and got into this franchise. I've met a lot of my friends that way. A lot of my life has been kind of changed by knowing this. So I cannot in good faith put it very low, despite knowing that it's objectively not very good. So I'm gonna keep it. Yeah, I'm gonna put it at the bottom of S because I can't see myself possibly giving it worse than that because of how important it is. Can't wait to rewatch it though and talk about it. Main complaint is that until I saw a playthrough of the first game, I saw a playthrough before I played it myself. I did not know who Mukuro was because the anime was so quick to get through all the different plot points that it doesn't properly explain who Mukuro is, and I did not understand what Junko did to the outside world. So, I didn't fully get that stuff until seeing a playthrough of the game, funnily enough. And it's like, that's the kind of thing that I think I don't like about it, but again, still can't find myself, if I didn't myself to put it lower. Death Note. So, Death Note, I used to rent manga from my library back home. And that's how I got to reading a bunch of stuff like Haruhi Suzumiya, Maid-sama. I read like 30 volumes of Bleach, and I want to go back and reread Bleach at some point because I really liked it. Death Note, I read the first like half of the manga, or maybe not the first half, more like the first couple volumes. And then the next volume wasn't available, but I was still so eager to see the story that I instead went home and watched the anime from where I left off on the manga instead. Death Note, it's obviously one of the most famous anime of the time, and with good reason. It's so good. The constant back and forth between L and Light is so fantastic and intriguing, and you love seeing where it's going to go. You love seeing how it all plays out. It's a very dramatic, and having watched the first 3 episodes again somewhat recently, I forgot how dramatic it can be, but it kind of works in its favor. It's very dramatic and played out, but it does it so well that you don't really care. Light and L, as I mentioned, are just fantastic characters, and their dynamic is great both before and after they meet. The way that Light is able to almost get away with everything until the very end is fantastic and brilliant to see. And you somehow you kind of root for him, even though he's technically the bad guy. And inspired a whole thing of people wanting to have a Death Note in real life. So, I love it. It still holds up to this day. Yeah, I think that's good. Baka and Test. Man, this is another anime that I desperately want to rewatch because I loved it so much. It was probably one of my favorites when I was younger. Genuinely, it's just like it feels like such a random anime that nobody ever talks about. But when it got 2 seasons, it's so good and entertaining. The characters are wonderful. Aki and Hideyoshi, I prefer them together over him with any of the other girls. Um, the comedy is really fun. The characters are fascinating. Their character dynamics are interesting. The premise of the show is unique and fun, and adds for and like again, it's another one of the shows that you feel like shouldn't have a lot of wiggle room to work with, but it does some surprisingly fun stuff with its premise. And I would kind of want more. I wonder. I want to reread it or rewatch it. Maybe reread it too because I think it deserves more attention, and I should go back and enjoy it again because I just had such a. It's just one of those anime where you just have a really good time watching it. You know, I miss it a lot too. I miss the characters. I miss Hideyoshi. Hideyoshi's fucking awesome. Um, yeah. I wish I could remember more of it, but from what I do remember, it's really good, and I want to watch it more. Corpse Party. Okay, first time that I watched Corpse Party, it was probably one of the goriest things that I had ever fucking watched in my entire life. Um, watched on YouTube too. I've only ever watched on YouTube, and my first go around of it, I thought it was really good. I really liked it. I really liked the horror. I liked the concept. The concept was so cool and added for uh, characters. The thing is, the characters are so not memorable, but their deaths are. At least, it's like no, their names aren't memorable, but their characteristics are like with the girl that like hangs herself, or and the girl that gets splattered against the wall. Then the guy who finds that gets freaks the fuck out. The little sister who dies in such a sad way that it made me cry the first time I saw it. Um, the deaths in this are so memorable and so cool, and the setting is perfectly creepy and horrifying. The antagonist is perfectly chilling and creepy, and overall it's just like it's short enough to like keep you invested without feeling rushed. But then the second time that I watched it, I liked it a lot less. Admittedly, that was partially because I watched it with my roommate, who he was pointing out all the inconsistencies to me and his girlfriend. We were all watching, and I had to admit that a lot of time he was right, and there was a lot of weird stuff in it that kind of felt kind of a little nonsensical. I don't know if that's just the anime or the like, game, or just the anime, or if it was the game too. I want to play the game eventually. Um, I would still say that I still like it and still probably one of my favorite horror anime, but it's definitely not as good as I remembered it when I watched it. So, I'll put it here. I know there's a lot in A minus, but that's how I am. I'm sorry. It's another one that is only season 1. Um, I I have this thing was kind of big when it first came out, from what I remember, but it fell off kind of quickly, and I feel like people stopped talking about it nearly as much. And I liked the first season a lot. I think characters are very relatable and fun, and I wanted to see them succeed, and I wanted to see where they were going, and I wanted to see her succeed. I don't remember her name. Um, I think it's Gretzko, right? Because a Gretzko, and I remember wanting to watch. I think I watched like the first episode or 2 of season 2, and I just never got around to finishing it. Um, maybe I'll go back and watch it one day, but I'm not sure if I really am interested in it anymore. I remember having a good time with it when I first watched it, but at this point, I don't know if it'd really be my thing anymore. The concept is definitely kind of fun, Although I feel like it feels like there's less potential than there could be. But again, anime keeps surprising me with that it doesn't have that much potential for storylines, and yet they come up for stuff anyway. I don't know, maybe I'll give it a second chance at some point, but I don't see it being like super, super likely. Put it at the top of here. Kakegurui. Now this one's cool. I was so invested in it when it came out. When I first watched it, I found it to be so fascinating because it reminded me so much of it to me, it felt like a grittier version of No Game No Life in a way. There's this school all kind of surrounded or built around gambling and everything, and like that's like how you get power and everything, and if you could like basically become a slave if you're not careful and you don't play good enough. And man, it's so interesting, and the characters are so weird and cool. And admittedly, I wish I remembered more than I do, but I do remember just being kind of. It was that same level of No Game No Life where they find such insane ways to outwit their enemies, outwit their opponents, and make. Technical issues. Sorry. What was I saying? Outwitting their opponents and finding ways to beat everybody and just kind of deal with the insane people in this school. It feels like I don't remember what the main storyline was supposed to be, though. Unfortunately, I definitely want to go and read it again. There was or watch it again. There was another series that came out that I never got around to watching because at the time Netflix's subtitles were like really bad and they weren't synced, and I didn't want to deal with it, and I didn't want to deal with the slow pausing and everything for my TV because my TV doesn't play Netflix very well. But I definitely want to go and give it another shot at some point. Maybe also read the manga too. It feels like the kind of anime that I never would have thought that I would like, but I do. I really did like it. This like this, yeah. Place to Place. Oh my goodness. One of the fucking most adorable romantic comedies I've ever seen. Although at the same it's such a pleasant, fun anime that with excellent characters, but my god, it gets kind of annoying that they just never fucking do it. Like I think even now, I think the manga is ongoing and I still don't know if she's confessed yet. And it's really frustrating because they're so cute together. They have so many adorable moments, and she is fucking adorable when she's like kind of flustered and blushing over him, and it just never really amounts to anything, and it's really unfortunate because it does. I just want them to be together. They really should be together, and they just aren't. They never do, and even though they're friends, try their hardest to make it happen. But despite that, it is still an incredibly cozy, friendly, and fun anime that I enjoyed watching immensely. And I've tried every time that I get to. I try to convince my friends to watch it as well because it's just so cute. And I do want to go and rewatch it at some point. Most of these things I want to rewatch. Most of my older ones, at least. Um, I just want them together. It's kind of like I dislike anime that hold off and just never fucking commit to the relationship. That's why I like Shunubio so much, was because they commit, then they have them actually start dating, like fairly decently early into the anime. They don't hold this out forever. And I like anime that does that. I don't like anime that hold it off forever because that's just like, I get why they do it, but I feel like there's still so many things you can do even when they're dating, you know? That just don't ever get explored. And that's really unfortunate because there's so much potential there. But, oh well. It'll happen eventually, I know. Happy Sugar Life. My god. This is one of the best horror anime that I have ever watched, if not my favorite. It's so fucking good. It wraps up the story perfectly in a single anime. A single anime is perfect. It actually concludes the story. It's perfectly dark and has so many things going on that is just constantly making you like fear for the characters. And fucking made me cry when she killed the one girl. It's, if I guess tiny spoilers, when she kills her best friend, um, fucking made me fucking cry. I think if I went back and watched the anime again, it would probably still make me cry. It's so perfectly horrifying to imagine that situation for that girl being like being betrayed by someone you were so close to, or at least you thought you were close to. And all the other characters, like the one guy who got uh you know, and then he tried to basically do that to the girl too, because or she was like his saving angel, and so he wanted her all to himself, and it's so fucking creepy. And it's like it almost feels like she's better off with the main character instead somehow. Then you throw in the main character's mother into all this, and it's such a mess, but it's so beautifully crafted, and the art style is so perfectly creepy and amazing and well fitting for such an anime. And it's another one that I want to go and experience it again because it's been so long, and I this was one of the few anime that I watched as it was coming out, like week by week. Like I think that's part of the reason why I connected to it so much was because I spent way more time with it, because I watched it like episodes would come out on YouTube. People would upload like the episodes. It was episodes to YouTube. So when I first found out about it, it was like 2 or 3 episodes that were up on YouTube, and then every week there'd be a new episode that I would watch at lunch at school. And it's just like I think maybe spending so much time with it is part of the reason that I grew so attached to it. And then I introduced it to one of my friends, and he loved it too. It's just a fantastic horror anime that I wish we got more stuff that was willing to take chances like this to be to cover topics that are very rarely discussed in anime from what I've seen. Um, Especially ones that are handled the way that this one does it. It's not perfect. It's definitely not perfect. I can understand people having some flaws with it, but I adore it immensely. It's probably my favorite horror anime. I mean, this Junji Ito is really cool, but oh yeah, you're in here twice. Okay, but yeah. Psyche K. First out of so when I going into this tier list, all of these were kind of off the cuff decided. For SSS, my best of the best, there are only 3 anime that are going to go up here, and I already know what they are ahead of time. Because they're my favorite animes of all time, anime of all time. Psyche K is one of them, and it probably is my favorite anime of all time. Maybe, I'm not sure. All 3 of my top 3, Psyche K, I watched in high school, and it remained, and it easily became my favorite anime of all time. And then it stayed my favorite anime of all time until I watched 100 Girlfriends last year. And after that, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if it was my favorite anymore. Um and now I don't know, and I don't know which one I like more. And then on top of that, I watched another anime at one point that also is now in contender for one of my favorite anime of all time. And I have no idea which one of them I actually like more. I have one of them that I think is a little bit lesser than the other two, but between those other two, I still don't know which is going to be my favorite. I honestly, probably all of the triple S ones are going to be kind of on the same level for me. I don't know if I'd be able to pick one off the top of my head because I just love them all so much for completely different reasons. Psyche K is the funniest thing I've ever watched. Point blank. It is the funniest show that I've ever seen. Funniest anything I've ever seen. Made me laugh constantly, basically every single episode. Psyche is such a fantastic protagonist. He's one of the best protagonists I've ever seen. The concept for the show is entirely unique. I've never seen anything like it, and never seen anything done properly like it since. Despite having psychic powers that feels like they could solve every problem, there's still stuff that they still find ways to come up with stuff for like 3 or 4 seasons that still like are outside of him being able to just fix whenever he wants. The way that they use his powers is so creative and unique and cool. All the characters are extremely. Sadly, I don't remember their names because it's been so long since I watched it. I do need to rewatch this to decide whether I like it more than 100 Girlfriends or not. But I remember the characters. I just remember their names. It's highly memorable characters, highly memorable scenes, highly memorable jokes. Character relationships are very good. It's very cool to see these relationships develop between these different people. It's cool to see Psyche slowly develop more friends, because like it's kind of like with Tomoko. Tomoko was a loner, for a different reason than Psyche was, but then Psyche still ends up getting friends anyway. And it's really cool to see that. All the times that he almost gets caught are so fascinating and full of intrigue. And I wish they did end it with all of his friends actually finding out and that staying permanent, because that would have been cool for a way to end it. And I want to go rewatch it, and I want to read the manga so badly, and I want to cover it in a video at some point because of how much I love it. It's genuinely one of the best things I've ever watched, period. And it is definitely one of the best anime, if not the best anime, that I've ever watched. It is so good, and everybody should watch it because it is so fucking funny. And the voice acting was incredible. You normally I think only the first season is dubbed, and then the rest is subbed. Normally, doing that kind of switch is a little bit jarring, but for me, it wasn't too bad. It actually worked really well because the Japanese actors had the same sort of energy as the dub ones, so I made the transition pretty smoothly. Fantastic anime, and everybody should watch it because it's so good. And probably my favorite, but we'll see. School Live! So, this one has a lot of interesting stuff behind it. First of all, this is kind of cool because I'm actually currently rereading the manga. Which, or not rereading, just reading the manga. I'm reading the manga for the first time, and I've already gone past where this season ends, where this anime ends. So that's really cool, and I'm really enjoying it so far. School Live was such a random thing for me to find. I found out about this anime that had that really cool twist in the first episode. Went and watched it. Was fucking blown away by the spoilers. Finding out that Megune was not real, or rather that she was already dead and not really there. Fucking blew my mind. Made me sad. This anime makes me very sad. It's very cool. I'd say it's probably my second favorite like horror thing after Happy Sugar Life. However, something that it has a little bit over Happy Sugar Life is that I have such a connection to it because my boyfriend also watched. This was one of the first anime my boyfriend ever watched. And there's another anime coming up later down the line that is also very important to me because he's the one that recommended it, and it was his first anime. But School Life was, I believe, his second. There's a lot of connection, and we're both, once I'm finished reading the manga, he's gonna read it, and I'm gonna like react to it with him and everything, which is what we did for Watamote, and it was really, really fun. But School Life is such a fascinating concept for girls trapped in a school during the zombie apocalypse. Is so cool. That is such a cool idea, and their execution of it is fantastic and perfect. Yuki's like mental condition is so brilliantly done, and it feels so realistic for like this girl to like come up with this kind of coping mechanism to try and keep her and everybody around her alive and motivated and happy to keep going despite all the fucking horrors that they constantly have to deal with every single fucking day. And it's impressive what the anime is able to accomplish with such a insane fucking premise. And funnily enough, having read the manga now, I think the anime actually does it better. This whole stuff dealing with Megune and everything is kind of not well done in the it's not like greatly done in the manga, because in the manga it becomes obvious fairly quickly that she isn't real. Meanwhile, in the manga or in the anime, it takes like I think until like episode 6 before you finally find out that she isn't real. And I think the reveal is handled so much better in the anime that I kind of prefer it over the manga, to be honest. And after we're done reading the manga, I can't wait to go and watch the anime again too. Although, and the anime also includes the dog, which only got one chapter in the manga before it just died. But in the anime, it actually becomes like a kind of a central character and like an important plot point near the end of the show. And this is just such a well done show, well done thing, and such a unique concept that I wish other zombie stuff could replicate, because it's so unique and there's so many cool things that you can do with a zombie apocalypse that I feel like most people don't really use it to its full potential. But School Life does, and I enjoy it a lot. So, yeah, I think that's probably gonna be a good spot. Steins Gate, fucking incredible anime. I've not played the game. I've only seen the anime, but I intend to play through the entire like science adventure series with my boyfriend eventually. Steins Gate fucking blew me away with how good it was. Every single aspect of it is incredible to me. The characters are fucking insane and memorable. The dynamic between sorry, I don't remember the name. Okabe and the two main, the two main characters. Their relationship is so cool. Even if when I was watching the anime for the first time, the thing that I was watching it on, I think it was Hulu, accidentally skipped an episode. So I just had one episode that was like whatever, preparing to like let her go, and then I accidentally skipped the episode where they fucking kissed, and it made me so fucking angry that I missed that. And then because then just random next episode she's just gone, and it just like felt like there was no explanation until I found out later I accidentally just missed an episode. Fucking probably one of the most important episodes of the series too. Fucking stupid. Her that one girl constantly dying over and over again without his control, him being able to stop it, it has become one of my favorite tropes in like these kinds of stories. That idea that you have this person who is just fated to die, and their other person just tries their hardest to save them no matter what, even if it feels like impossible, even if it feels like the universe just wants them to die and there's nothing you can do about it. I've always found that to be interesting. That kind of thing also happens in 100 Line as well with Nozomi, and I find that I find it to be such a fun and interesting concept that I wish more stuff explored. The time travel aspects of it are a little confusing, but also really cool. There's like trans representation in it, which is also really, really cool. Even if it's kind of handled a little bit weirdly, especially from the main character in the anime and in the first set part of the visual novel, from what I understand. But I still appreciate the trans representation. It's such a fascinating story, and the way it gets all wrapped up again feels a little confusing, but I never felt unsatisfied with anything that was going on. Excuse me. And I definitely am excited to play through the actual visual novel at some point, and maybe even watch the anime again. Hopefully not skip the episode this time. opening is also one of the best anime openings I've ever seen in my entire life. It's so fucking good. It's so visually cool, and the song is really memorable. Um, the one girl's "Toot-toot" is something that I still kind of randomly say that to myself every once in a while. It's like what is it called? Like a vocal stim. I kind of say that to myself every once in a while sometimes. Um, it's just so cute, and I love it. So, Steins Gate. Where did I put you? Yeah. Hi, we are back. It has been honestly a couple weeks since I last did this. Um, but we are back to uh do the second half. I don't know if I'm gonna all through all of it this session, but we'll see. But we are up to Cells at Work. Actually, let me put my glasses on so my eyes don't hurt. So we are up to Cells at Work. Now, I have seen the original series, but I have not actually seen the Code Black. I tried watching it, I got through like half of it before. I didn't dislike it. I honestly did like it. I just kind of fell off of it, I guess. So, but if it was on here, it would be its separate entry because it is a separate show, pretty much. Cells at Work, though, it was it genuinely was really educational, which it was surprising to me how educational it is, along with being entertaining. The characters are very cute. The platelets are so fucking adorable. Um, Seeing like a representation of all these different things within the human body in an anime form is honestly really cool and interesting. Sorry if you can hear my cat. Um, and it's a really unique anime in that regard. I feel like there's not a lot that have done anything similar to this in that I have seen since. I mean, I guess a place further than the universe kind of taught me a lot about like what it's like uh, for for people who go to Antarctica, but Cells at Work was like truly educational to me, and I was kind of surprised by that. So yeah, um, main character was also really cute. I liked the characters more than I did in Code Black. That's for sure. Hmm. I think we'll slot it right there. Watamote feels like it should be higher considering that I read the manga, but I know it's just the anime, not the manga. If it was also the manga, it would be like up here. Danganronpa 3. So, I have a kind of controversial opinion of this anime. A lot of people think it's not very good, and I do understand people's gripes with it. Um, Funny enough, I feel like I've heard people say that the despair side is worse and that future side is better. For me, I like despair side more because getting to see all these characters and what they were like before the tragedy and seeing all the steps that happened to cause the tragedy to happen was really cool. And I really liked that. And it was also cool to learn, Chiaki was a real person and she had like a pretty decent relationship with Hajime before he became Izuru. And overall, I like it. It's definitely not great, but I like it. I genuinely like the DR3 anime. Now, I am eventually going to go back and watch it, both the DR1 anime and the DR3 anime for my Danganronpa retrospective series. And I'm sure when I'm looking at it with a more analytical eye, I am probably going to find it to be way worse than I remember, because I'm pretty sure the last time I watched it was like, how old would I have been? It's like probably 6 or 7 years ago, I want to say, since I watched it. So I definitely am probably just it's probably going to be worse than I remember it being. But either we'll find out when we get there. Um, as for where I put it right now, I'm gonna say probably top of B plus. Yeah, yeah, I think that's a good spot. Angel Beats. Angel Beats I actually rewatched lately because my boyfriend, Ark, he'd been wanting to watch Angel Beats for a while. The story of Angel Beats is really funny because it was like it was just this random day during like a weekend when I was just sitting at home, and I was like, you know what, I want to check out Netflix and see if there's any anime to watch. So I just scrolled through, I just opened Netflix, scrolled through, found Angel Beats, and binged the entire thing in a day. And I was like actually kind of emotional by the end. I don't think I cried or anything like that. I don't. It takes a lot to make me actually cry. Um, but I definitely think I got emotional by the end. And yeah, and it left a really strong impression on me for like years. And then I rewatched it with Ark, uh, I think earlier this year, and it was still good. It was still really, really good, just as good as I remembered. So, that makes me really happy. The characters are fantastic. The story is wonderful. The sense of mystery is it's not too deep, but it's intriguing. The twists at the end are really cool. Seeing the one band girl like eventually move on with on her own before everybody else was really cool. And then at the end, having to say goodbye to all of the main characters as they just vanish was really sad, but really cool. Like it's bitter. It's a bittersweet ending. You know they're likely moving on to heaven, but you are gonna like miss them and be sad that they can't see each other. But like it's a pretty good package altogether. I wouldn't say there's anything super negative I even have to say about it. I think it's mostly positives. Maybe I would have a few nitpicks if I really looked at it, but I think it's a really, really solid show. Um, let's put it right here. Ancient Magus Bride. Holy shit. Ancient Magus Bride. I have not watched the second season, but man, that first season, I genuinely think that it's probably one of the like visually prettiest anime I've ever watched. I don't know if that's even the right phrasing, because it's just I've never been so captivated by an anime in such a unique way. It's really hard to describe the way that I like Agent Magus Bride. It's the world is so fascinating and interesting. The characters are really strong and really good. I like the protagonist. I like the character arc that she goes through. I like just how I love all the visuals. They're just impressive and amazing, and I really need to go watch the second season. And the like relationship between these two main characters is like really surprisingly wholesome and nice. Um, and it was also one of the only anime that I've read supplemental material, because Ancient Magus Bride had two novels attached to it that was like what was it? It's like Golden Yarn and Silver something. But I read both of those, and it's funny. Those are kind of like I read those right when COVID happened, and that's when that's how I remember those two books so fondly. Is because I remember exactly when I read them. I read the first book right before COVID shut down my senior year of high school, and then I read the second book after. But for Ancient Magus Bride, it's even if I haven't seen the second season, I'm eventually going to watch it, and I do kind of want to read a manga if there is one. I actually don't know. I haven't checked, but it's so beautiful, and I wish it got talked about more. It really deserves more attention, and yeah, I would honestly, it's gonna go up here. I just maybe do I like it more than Assassination Classroom? I'd say so. Yuri on Ice. So, Yuri on Ice, this is a funny story. I never would have watched this anime normally. When I was in anime club in high school, and the way that I don't know if I talked about this earlier in the video. Again, it's been a couple weeks since I recorded last. The way that my anime class worked was at first for my junior year, it would be we would come in and we watch 2 episodes per session. And they were all the 2 first episodes of 2 entirely different anime. So the first episode of one anime, first episode of a second anime. Then in my senior year, we decided to switch it up, where we decided to commit to an anime, and then so what we would do was, for our first anime slot, we would stick to one anime and watch the entire thing. We would watch 1 episode of an anime and then watch that same anime every week. And then the second would be a first episode of a brand new anime every week. So we would have one anime that we would commit to, and then random other ones every week. Yuri on Ice was the first anime that we committed to. Honestly, it was the only one that we were able to finish because, again, COVID shut us down in the middle of the school year, in the middle of third quarter. So we did get through we got through all of Yuri on Ice and then half of another anime, which I did actually. That other anime I did eventually go and finish watching on my own a couple years later. So we'll get to that later. Yuri on Ice was the anime that we watched the entirety of in Anime Club. And honestly, as someone who normally binges stuff, I honestly think watching it that way was kind of bad because I hardly remember this anime. I hardly remember anything about it. I just remember that it was not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. It was it was one of the biggest yaoi anime for a very long time back in the 2020s. The late 2010s and the early 2020s. It was one of the biggest yaois ever. And it just it was just okay from what I remember. It wasn't great, but it wasn't good. I think I'm just for yaoi. I'm more into Yuri stuff. Yaoi stuff has to be really really good for me to like it. The primary example that I think of is Hideyoshi and Akihisa, I think is his name. Those two from Baka and Test. They get some teasing throughout the show, and honestly, they were I really like that pairing. That's a yaoi pairing that I actually like. But obviously, it's not the main focus. I think Yuri on Ice might be the only yaoi focused thing that I've watched. I guess Stars Align might be, but I think that's it. Yeah. So I think this is the only yaoi show that I've really watched and finished. Although because I mostly, if I'm gonna look for not something specific like that, it's gonna be Yuri, because I prefer Yuri. As a woman who is into women, more than men. Except for my boyfriend, because he's awesome. So where would I put it? I remember really liking the characters. I liked one of them in particular, but I don't want to say his name in case I say it wrong. Do I... See, the thing about Surrogate Children is that I don't remember it. I don't remember anything about it. I just remember that I thought it was okay. I'll put Yuri on Ice above it because I remember more about Yuri on Ice, even if I am less confident in my opinion of it. At least I remember it still, so I can say more about it than I can about Surrogate Children. Maybe I should move it down to C minus. Because I think this is the only anime that I've watched that I legitimately remember absolutely nothing about it. You know what, I'll move it down to C minus. My girlfriend is a show bitch, I think is what this one was called. This one was interesting. I remember watching this one at school, because my digital arts and design class, what would happen was in my senior year of, um, damn, we're almost done with my high school experience, actually. That's crazy. My senior year, I our class would be my digital arts and design class was a 3-hour block at the very end of the day. So what would happen was for my junior year of digital arts and design, we would do stuff like normal or blah blah blah. But then for my senior year, the school was trying a new thing where the first hour of my block was for a younger class. So we, the seniors, would have to go and do other stuff because he couldn't teach us because he had to teach the other class other stuff. So it was almost basically like a free hour. Like we could participate in the stuff that we wanted to, but it was going to be stuff that we learned last year. So it was essentially a free hour for us. So I spent it either playing games, usually playing either like Smash Bros or Ace Attorney or whatever else, or I at some point I went into the back and just watched my girlfriend's a show bitch, and yeah, so I kind of have that fond memory attached to that. As for the show, I remember none of the characters except for the main girl. But her relationship with the main guy was extremely cute for how lewd it feels like it should have been, which it was. There was lewd stuff in it, obviously. There's literally an episode about the main girl, like, not wearing underwear and getting worried that her skirt could be blown up. And he actually, no, it blows up and says that she's like, oh, you can look if you want to, and he chooses not to, if I remember correctly. I should rewatch it sometime. Because I remembered liking it. I thought it was really funny. And I mean, I'm not ashamed to say that I like lewd stuff, so I liked the lewd stuff. But honestly, the relationship between her and the main guy, I remember being kind of wholesome, surprisingly, especially near the end. Like, I was genuinely so happy with the whole event where he says "I love you" to her for the first time, and she like actually gets really shy and freaks out about it, and it's super cute. Um, yeah, I really like that stuff, and I should rewatch it sometime. It's unfortunate that I don't remember like anything else about the other characters though. I only remember scenes of her and the main guy. That's kind of surprising. Um, I'd say I probably like it on the same level as like Shimoneta. It's just a question of do I like it more or less than Shimoneta? Maybe just like a little tiny bit less. I feel like Shimoneta has stronger, more memorable characters, and I think the humor is a little bit better. But they're very, very close. Elfen Lied. This is another one that this was one that like I really liked when I watched it, and then later on I found out from my roommate um before we became roommates, he was telling me how bad Elfen Lied was, and he told me he thinks it's one of the worst anime ever. Um, Admittedly, having I didn't I've never rewatched it, but earlier this year I did go and read the entire manga. And admittedly, reading the manga, I was able to see way more flaws in it that definitely would have translated to the anime as well. However, I would still say that I do like the anime. I like the manga more, especially as it's a complete story and everything, and whatever. But I do like the anime. I still think it's I still think it's like decent. It's definitely not great, but I think it's decent and what it tries to do and what it does do. And I mean, it got me interested enough to want to read the manga. So, I mean, I guess that's a mission accomplished, right? So, yeah, Elfen Lied. Where would you go? It's characters are interesting, and the dynamic of having the Lucy, is it Lucy? I should remember. I read this like 6 months ago. I should remember. Um, my memory is so shit though. Lucy having the dual personality is really fascinating. The whole mystery is really unique, and the way it unravels is fun. Um, the nudity is, while I liked it as like an older teenager, obviously, um, for obvious reasons. Looking back on it now, it serves as more of a distraction a lot of the time, and it does feel like needless fan service sometimes. The only time that I would say it's like not really needless is the one girl who gets uh abused by her dad. I think the nudity there is fine because I think it helps to illustrate how terrible the situation is. But even then, you can definitely tell it's also meant to be kind of fan service, which is a little bit meh. Um, I wouldn't say it's egregious. I don't really care that much, but I definitely notice it more after having read the manga. Um, I like it though. I like the package. I think it's a decent show, just not as good as I remembered it being, probably. Although I'd have to rewatch because I'm more focused on the manga. But I mean, again, the anime is really, from what I remember, the anime is actually pretty faithful to the manga. I was surprised to see how faithful it was. Yeah, I think that's decent. Pop Team Epic. This is such a weird fucking one. Just remember this one being like just like such a weird, probably one of the weirdest anime I've ever seen. It definitely feels like it's supposed to invoke the same kind of vibes as like uh Nichijou. But it's just weird. And I get that's the point. I just remember being like having that thought of, this is fun. This is interesting, and I do think some of the jokes are funny, but this just makes me want to go and rewatch Nichijou because I think Nichijou does the entire concept of the absurdist comedy better. Although I wouldn't be opposed to going back and rewatching it sometime because I do remember liking a lot of the jokes and I thought it was interesting and did do some unique things that stuff like Nichijou doesn't. Um, I'd have to see though. I'd have to try to refresh myself. I just remember it being kind of okay. Not terrible, but meh. Oh, Kill la Kill. So Kill la Kill is funny. Kill la Kill was one of the very first anime that I ever watched. Like all the way back. It was like probably like the third or fourth anime that I ever watched. My ex girlfriend back in middle school and high school, she's the one that got me into anime, and um Kill la Kill was one of the first ones that I tried to watch. I don't know how I came across it. I just did. But I remember very distinctly that I was telling her about it. I was like, "Hey, I started watching Kill la Kill," and she just like looked at me and was like, gave me the most disappointed expression one of the most disappointed expressions I've ever seen, because she knew exactly what Kill la Kill was. But the thing is, I never finished it. I finished the first season when I was like 13, 14, and then I never read more or never watched more until several years later. I thought I was never going to finish it, but then one day I was just like doing whatever, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna watch Kill la Kill from start to finish, because I really liked this anime and I want to see how it ends, and I want to see what happens. I want to rewatch it and see what happens. And I did, and it was so fucking good. It's genuinely so amazing. The animation and the art and the battles are so unique and amazingly animated. Everything about it is so special and wonderful, and the characters are fucking incredible. Ryuko and Mako, is it Mako? Are incredible together. They're super cute. Everything about this show is awesome, and I mean it's very popular for a reason, and one of the studio's best anime for a reason. Absolutely incredible. I would love to watch it again. I really want to watch it again sometime, because it was just so crazy, and it was fun to go back and kind of redeem myself and finally finish this anime that I never got around to actually doing. And it was so fun to watch. The final mysteries were a little bit underwhelming, I would say. But the whole presentation of it kind of made up for it. I think the ending was also just okay, but again, everything else surrounding it is so good that I don't really care that much. I'm gonna put it just under Nichijou. Okay, do you love your mom and her 2-hit multi-target attacks? This was another, like, random one that I just kind of, like, stumbled on. I think I just, like, heard about it, and I was like, oh, that sounds like a fun concept. And I started watching it, and it was really good. And I did really like it. I liked all the characters, especially, are just really fascinating and fun. There's, like, the tsundere girl was really cute, and I really liked her. Also the tiny little backpack girl, especially when they go into, like, the bath, she just, like, she can't even be separated from, like, her bag. She has to put it, like, on the top of her head instead. It's just, like, I don't know, something about that was really charming and funny. And speaking of those bath scenes, just, like, the fact that I don't know, it's such a little thing that should not matter, but just the fact that they all take baths together, even though one of them is guy, as, like, their strategy meetings, is honestly kind of cute to me. I don't know, I always liked that kind of, idea of just, like, people, like, of opposite genders, like, bathing together because they trust each other that much, and I really like that as, like, a thing. It's not something that's done very often, but I kind of wish it was done more, because I really like it. The fan service was nice without being too intrusive. I'm glad they didn't really do, like, any incest stuff until the OVA, and even the OVA felt like not too intrusive, I guess. Like, it didn't. That's what I was worried about going in. I was worried that it was gonna be incest stuff that I wouldn't really be into. But that wasn't really the focus. There was, like, teasing of it and, like, jokes about it, but it was never anything legitimate. The son never, like, genuinely had feelings for his mother or anything. Or the other way around, I think. It was just that they happened to get up in lewd situations sometimes. Except for the OVA, but again, the OVA was like, the shenanigans were going on in the OVA, so it doesn't really matter. Comedy was really fun. The story is nice. I kind of wish it had more. Maybe there's a manga, maybe I'll go read it if there is, but and then you had the one random moment of that showed nipples, like the one scene in the entire thing that showed nipples. So weird, but I'm not really gonna complain that much. Especially since it was used for comedy as well. Haganai. This is one that I like. I feel like I like it more than I should. Haganai is like it's a concept that would not normally interest me, and to be completely honest, I didn't really like some of the characters at first. But I think they definitely get way better the further that you go. The more time you go on, the better that they get. And it definitely gets to the point where you do start to really like the characters, at least in my case. And I ended up really liking it enough so that I do want to go and read the light novels because I think they're good. I want to see where the story goes and what happens. And then learning that it was made by the same guy that did Sisters All You Need, which is one of my favorite anime and one of my favorite light novels of all time, um, only made me want to look at it more because I was like, oh hey, I really like this other person's work. I'm sure that and I read their entire light novel series for Sisters All You Need. So I bet I would like Haganai as well. Man, I need to reread Sisters All You Need. I really want to reread it. It's so good. I might make a video on it. We'll see. Yeah, it's incredibly good. The fan service and stuff was depending on the scene, sometimes it was really good, sometimes it was just distracting. Um the scene with her running through her home just like completely nude in front of it, then tripping and falling out of absolute embarrassment. One of the funniest scenes to me in the entire show. It's one of my favorite scenes because of just how ridiculous it is and how stupid she was being, just like running through her house naked while she knew that her male friend was there. Very funny. Um, yeah. And then the one girl who thought she would think she was a guy, and not even in like a trans way. She just thinks that she is a guy for some reason. And like doesn't seem to realize that she has female genitals. Again, it's not even in a trans way. It's just like she just legitimately doesn't realize that she doesn't have male parts somehow. And I think that whole thing was funny, and the reveal on that, while I could see it coming, well, honestly, no. I think I remember that I wasn't sure if it was a guy or not. I think part of me was hoping that it was actually a guy, but I was like, some part was like, oh, it's not gonna be, is it? And then they revealed it, and I was like, yeah, okay, fair enough. But Haganai is definitely something that I feel like I wouldn't it feels like an anime that I shouldn't like, but I do, and I want to read the light novels eventually. Once I have the time and money. Where would I put you? I'll put you right there. Squid Girl! Oh, Squid Girl. This one's such a unique one, too. This was another, like, anime that I found to be really random. I don't remember how I found out about it or stumbled across it. I just remember finding out about it one day, and this is probably This one took me a very long time to actually watch the entirety of, but I did watch the entirety of it, and I really liked it. I thought it was a very unique concept, just having this like squid girl come out of the ocean and it, because she wants to try and take over the world to make people stop um polluting the world and everything. And then the only thing standing between her and accomplishing that goal is this fucking woman, and that's really funny to me. And she's just like perfectly open and everything about being just like a squid, pretty much like a squid girl thing. And it's really fun, and the comedy is really good, and like the one girl obsessing over her is really I'm always a sucker for that kind of trope. I wish it got more. I wonder if it has a manga. This one I'm really curious about. It does. Wonder if it's finished. 400 chapters! Christ! You know what, though? I read it. I'll read it one day. I liked Squid Girl, and I'd read it. 400 chapters, though? Holy shit, I did not realize it was that fucking long. Bookmarking this. Bookmarked. Okay. Squid Girl. Yeah, the only thing standing between her and trying to dominate the world is that girl. But honestly, for being real, she would not be able to actually take over the world. She would get destroyed so easily. But still, it's a fun concept. The comedy is really fun. The stuff that they managed to come up with such a concept is actually really surprising. It's surprising how much creativity the show has for what feels like a simple concept. And yeah, I feel like I don't actually have that much to say about it, unfortunately. But that's also because my memories of it are a little bit fuzzy, unfortunately. But I do know that it is really good, and I do really like it. I feel like Nichijou is kind of a hard barrier for these upper levels, you know? Like, it's gonna be very hard to break through to these other ones. Madoka! So despite being the like the a thing that's supposed to be like a magical girl thing that breaks the tropes of the genre and everything. I mean, it was technically my first magical girl anime I ever watched. I mean, technically Kill la Kill kind of is a magical girl anime if you really think about it. Because it's about a girl who transforms and fights stuff and basically gains magic powers. But for a real like magical girl stuff, Madoka was the very first one I ever watched, and I only watched it because it was recommended by my boyfriend. And it's really good, but it has been a very long time since I watched it. Me and him have been wanting to watch it again because of like just how it was one of the things that we like bonded over when we first met. Yeah, this would have been long enough ago that this would have been around the time that I first met Arc. Damn, that's cool. So yeah, we're up to like 2022 right now. And I would definitely want to rewatch it with him, but I remember it's just being really awesome. I knew a part about the beginning twist ahead of time of like mommy getting killed. I did know about that because of like a Mystic Chronexia video years and years and years ago. However, I I was not fully sure that that was going to happen until the episode actually happened when I saw the creature, and then I was like, oh yeah, this is the thing. This is the thing where the anime takes a sudden turn and she dies, isn't it? And then the rest of the anime was super depressing, but also super fascinating and super cool. And I want to experience the rest of the franchise with my lovely boyfriend as well. So I'm excited to see what else is gonna be there, what else the series has in store, because I think it's really fascinating as a concept, and I'm interested to see what else they do with this, especially since stuff is still coming out about it, which is kind of crazy. Oh, I'm sorry. There's a hiccup. Okay. Stars Align. This is the other anime that I watched in Anime Club at first. We only made it like halfway through the show before we had to stop because of COVID. But then I did eventually go back and watch it on my own. It's an anime only, so it doesn't have a manga. So what we have is what we get. It's a really interesting manga, or it's really anime. It's a very interesting anime. It deals a lot with like trauma and various uh like what's the word, disabilities, I guess, kinda. It deals with a bunch of different things going on with all these different guys that have that affect their time together, like doing tennis and stuff. And it's for being like a sports, I'm not really a sports anime person, if you can't tell by the fact that I have no real sports anime in here. This is the only sports anime that I've ever really watched that I really liked. I mean, I probably one of the only ones I've ever just watched at all. But I did like it. But that was mostly because I'm more focused on the characters and their dynamics and the relationships, which are far more interesting. Both you have the normal characters on the team, all the guys that are together that are really easy to ship together, which again was just what I kind of said. It was kind of like Yuri on Ice, because I'm pretty sure that the intent is supposed to be some that there's those kind of potential feelings between some of the characters, but also that one girl that sits off to the side drawing stuff, or I think she's drawing if I remember correctly. But she was always really cute as well. And there's just a lot of those side characters that do have some interesting stuff going on as well. The dynamics and stuff that it explores and everything from what I remember are really fascinating and interesting though. And yeah, it was just generally just kind of a unique anime that I've never really watched anything else like it. If sports anime are like this, maybe I will like them, but I highly doubt it. But yeah, Stars Align is definitely an interesting anime that I think more people should watch. Although it does get kind of depressing at times. Oh boy, Neon Genesis Evangelion. I have watched this anime twice. My roommate, it's my roommate and one of my best friends' favorite anime of all time. And he is super into it. He loves it immensely. He loves it to death. He asked me and my boyfriend back when we first met him to watch it. And we kind of all watched it. We didn't watch it all together, but we did watch it at the same time and all commented on it together as we watched it. Watching it late into the night. And I was blown away by how good it was. Because I had heard about it, obviously. I mean, you don't really be an anime fan and not have at least heard of Evangelion. Even but I mean, I didn't think I was gonna like it because mecha stuff never really looked appealing to me. But this was just I was blown away by. I mean, it's Evangelion. What can I really say about it that hasn't been said? The characters are fucking insanely well crafted and incredible. The storyline is fucking amazing. The metaphors and all the symbolism is incredible. The world that they created is fascinating. The way that they tackle all the story stuff is really interesting. It's genuinely one of the most well-crafted anime of all time. And there's like very, very few negatives that I could say about it, if anything at all. It doesn't appeal to me as much as it does to my roommate, but I can definitely understand why it became such a big thing, why it's so massively popular, why it's one of the biggest anime that has ever existed, why it's referenced in so many things. Although the Rebuild movies are not very good, at least like half of them aren't. But the anime is fucking incredible. Even if I personally don't, I understand what the ending is going for, but I don't really like it. I think that's one of my few criticisms is I don't like the ending. I like the ending in End of Evangelion better. But whatever. Evangelion is definitely a genuinely incredible anime. And watching it the second time as well was very fun, and I did really enjoy it. Still. Gurren Lagann. This one was a recommendation from who was my boyfriend at the time and is currently my best friend, one of my best friends. Gurren Lagann was another anime that I'd heard a lot about, and again, I thought, like mega anime, I thought it wasn't going to be very good. Color me surprised. It's really fucking good. I did not expect Kamina to die, like at all. That actually hit really hard because I wasn't expecting it in the slightest. And then even from then on, you think that would make it worse, but no, the anime just keeps getting better and better and better as time goes on. Just getting more and more drastic, going from the tiny robot to like the bigger thing to the fucking
Shopping
ship
for your next car?
to the.
What about
up.
third row?
Why do you do that? To the ship, to the fucking moon, to just being as big as the goddamn fucking universe. Like, the levels of insanity that it goes to is wild. And then the relationship between the main character and that one girl is also really interesting. And I am very into this anime, and I really want to watch it again sometime because it blew me away with how fun and cool it was, and how good the fight scenes were, and how much the mecha stuff was actually interesting. To my big surprise, I actually found it very fun to watch, and the characters are really impressive and amazing. If I don't remember a lot of the side characters, can you fuck off? There's this ad in the corner here that you can't see that keeps just fucking going on for some reason. Shut up. Thank you. And I lost my train of thought, but I mean, oh well, yeah. Good anime. I'd love to watch it again sometime. Yeah, I've got quite a bell curve going on here. Spy Family. Not really gonna give this one too much. I only saw the first 12 episodes when they came out separately. Because the first season was split between two parts. The first half of season 1, then the second half of season 1 came later. I've only seen the first half of season 1. It was really good from what I did see. But I feel like I can't properly judge it because I've only seen like a fourth of what's actually out, maybe even a sixth now. But I do want to go back and actually like sit down and properly watch it eventually. I'm just not super interested in it right now. Maybe if and when it's fully finished, because I have no doubt that it's going to be completely finished with how popular it is, then I will give it a full watch from beginning to end. Yeah. As for what I did see, though, it was really fun. Anya is so fucking adorable. She's so cute. I ended up getting an Anya sticker thing from my car where it looks like she's peeking from around the corner, and I got that put on the back of my car. It was really cute. She's like black and brown now from like wind and weather. We're completely removing the color from the sticker, which looks kind of horrifying now, but I honestly kind of love it. Yeah. Maybe it might be fine where it is. Again, only the first half of season 1, so don't take too much stock into it. Junji Ito Maniac. I am a fucking massive Junji Ito fan. I own almost everything he's ever written. Almost everything he's ever made. I fucking adore his work. He's probably my favorite horror like creator of all time. And I had heard leading up to this anime, every other anime and any other like adaptation of his work that had ever been made was always terrible. So I was very nervous about Japanese Tales the Macabre when it was being announced and coming out, but shockingly, it was actually really good. It was like it was a good adaptation of a lot of his work, and being able to see all these stories that I really really liked, and see them finally translated to animation was honestly really cool. And they managed to keep a lot of the style really well, you know, better than Uzumaki. And I was just super interested in it, and I doubt it's going to get a continuation of it someday, but you know, who knows? Maybe it will someday. And I would love to watch more if it does, and I'm probably going to go and rewatch it at some point because it was just how amazing it is and how much I love Junji Ito. Maybe we should make
Shopping
a video
for your
on
next
Junji
car?
Ito. Can you shut
about
up? I'm so sorry. I don't know why that ad keeps fucking... Why that ad is the only one. I'm gonna mute my desktop so you don't have to keep hearing it. Why that one is the only one that goes off. Anyway, yeah, I hope so we can get some more stories adapted and see more. I'd love to see like Hellstar Remina get animated. That would be pretty cool. I'm front loading A+, but I don't really care that much. There's another fucking ad that's making sound. Why do you keep doing this? Serial Experiments Lane! I hated this anime. Well, I didn't hate it, but I disliked this anime when I first watched it because I thought it was way too front... Can you shut up, ads? Holy shit! Should turn my volume down. Start to fucking listen to this shit. Okay. And then I'll make an alarm to turn it back up. Lane. I didn't like it at first because I thought it was way too heavy-handed with all the stuff that I was trying to do, or I guess, honestly, way too vague. I thought it was way too vague with what it was trying to do. I didn't like trying to have to figure it out. I thought it was confusing, and I liked the concept, and I liked the characters, and I liked the presentation, but I just didn't like what it was trying to tell because I didn't get it. However, then watching it a second time and being able to more properly understand what was happening as it was happening made me appreciate it so much more. And now, honestly, I think it's one of the most fascinating anime that's ever been made. It's so it has such interesting ideas, and even though it was made a while ago, it still has a lot of ideas to it that are still prevalent in the modern day. Like in it, like the whole thing about like digital world and um like being so lost in this digital world that it becomes your entire existence, that kind of stuff. There's like a bunch of different themes, a bunch of different ways you can read it, several different interpretations of everything. And I do really like it. I like what it does. I like what it tries to do and what it actually succeeds in accomplishing. And I like it way more the second time around. And I really want to show it to more people because even if it is confusing, I think you can still enjoy it even if you're confused. I mean, I did like parts of it when I did watch it the first time. It was just like I guess I just don't like being confused, I guess. And that's part of the reason why I didn't like it. But looking at it now, even back then, I feel like I still appreciated a lot of what it was doing. And I would love to show more people if I didn't think that they would just hate it like I did. Or hate parts of it like I did. Really good. Watch it if you haven't, but be prepared to be confused. It's also got one of the best anime openings of all time. Lane. Lane. Where do I want to put you? It sounds hard to decide. Honestly, I think I'm gonna move One Punch Man down. Because I'm just realizing I like a lot of things way more than it. And we got our first double row. No, I think that's fine. Yeah. Let's keep it like that. Next up is Your Lie in April. This is an anime that I watched with a few of my friends, all of us together. I knew ahead of time about the one girl dying, and I knew that maybe I would get emotional about it, but I didn't, unfortunately. Again, it takes a lot for me to get emotional at stuff. One of the only anime that's ever gotten me emotional was Assassination Classroom's ending. Your Lie in April is really good. The art style is a bit weird. I don't know. There's some parts of the art style that just kind of I think are a bit weird and don't. Sorry if you can hear Jinx. He's very loud. Um, it's hard to describe it, but it's like sometimes when you look at the character's facial expressions, especially the other girl, it's just like something about it just kind of makes me feel weird. I don't really like it as much sometimes, but I wouldn't say it's outright bad either. Um, Story is great. I feel like I remember the ending being kind of disappointing. Um, it's like it felt like it was building up to something really good, and then it didn't exactly captivate me enough in the second half to fully justify it. That I think that's how I kind of remember it, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just misremembering some stuff. I just know that it was for how much people have talked about this anime. It definitely felt like it did live up to the expectation as much as it could have or should have. So looking back on it now, I don't know if I probably would never want to watch it again because I feel like once was enough. I feel like I would like even less the second time around now that I know a lot of the stuff that's probably what's going to happen. Because I'm sure a lot of it would come back to me as I was watching it. I mean, some of it is already coming back just from talking about it. And I feel like when you know what's going to happen, you enjoy it less. I think knowing about the girl's death was probably something that kind of fucked it up for me, I feel. But nothing you really do about that. Okay, now we're at another significant milestone because here is where I moved out of my parents' house and moved 2 states away, and where I am currently living and have been here for. This has been the anime that I've watched over the last 3 years, as of next month. So, and so these are going to be the ones that I have the best memories of for sure. And so let's start. We're starting with Bofuri. Bofuri is so pleasant. It was just one of the most like feel good anime I've ever watched. It reminded me a lot of like Reincarnated as a Slime, where it's just kind of chill for most of the time. You have some dramatic moments, of course. There's some dramatic stuff and some fights that might feel like they are bad. But I mean, ultimately, it's casual because, for one, it's all in a video game, so you know that it doesn't matter too much. It's not even an isekai. It's just like a normal video game, so it doesn't really matter that much. So you don't have to get too worried. But even in the context of the video game, you never feel like there's that much of a danger, which sometimes can be a detriment, but honestly, I think for this anime in particular, it was honestly a strength. Just being able to kind of like lay back and relax with it and know that there wasn't going to be anything too terrible that was going to happen. I really like that kind of thing. And, God, the characters are so cute. The main girl is so incredible and fun and cute. The way she just accidentally breaks the entire game and accidentally becomes super OP is so funny. It's so well done. And her progression, just seeing her progression is so cool. I mean, that's part of the reason that I like this, that I like Slime too, is because you get to getting to see the steady progression of things growing, just like slowly growing more and more insane until when you look at where they are at the beginning and then where they are at the end, you're like, how the fuck did we get here? How did we go from her having played like not very many video games probably to being one of the most powerful players in the entire game? If not just straight up the most powerful. And it's so cool. It's such a cool concept too, just like the fact that she maxed out her defense by doing the most random stuff, and now it's like it's not even that her strength comes from just like being an outright offensive player, but that she has insanely high defense, so it's incredibly hard to kill her, and then she uses that defense as a weapon essentially and finds a way to like turn it around on her enemies and everything. And it's like not only that, but like she has rivals at first that turn into allies and everything. And again, it's just like, it's very much that kind of stuff. I've come to discover it's very much the kind of thing that I really like. Well, I do think Reincarnated as a Slime does it a little bit better. Bofuri is really fucking amazing, and I want to go and read the light novels. I actually own the first one. I picked it up from Barnes & Noble after I moved here. And I plan to read it eventually, and I can't wait. Girls und Panzer. This is another one that was like, never in my wildest dreams would I have imagined that an anime like this would have been good. I'd heard about this vaguely over since I was like a teenager, I think. When did this come out, actually? Girls und Panzer. 2012. Yeah, so I heard about this ever since I was a teenager, and I thought it was kind of a weird concept, but I never really was interested in it until someone got me to watch it. My roommate, I think, got me to watch it, and I was surprised about how much I liked it. um, I fucking love what's her name? Is it Yukari? I love Yukari. She's so fucking cute. Her hair floof is adorable. Her attitude is adorable. She's so small and cute, and I just want to give her a hug and give her head pats. I just, I love her so much. She's she's definitely my favorite character of that show, and she just like stands out a lot to me with how cute she is. I mean, the entire show is surprisingly cute. I mean, there's some dramatic moments, and they are played very well, especially with the whole confrontation against the main character's sister. Um, but just everything about it was so precious and cute at times, especially with Yukari, and definitely something that I could see myself watch. I did watch it twice. I watched it twice. I watched it once on my own, and then once with a friend. I think I showed Arc. It's either Arc or different friend. I can't remember. I think no, it was a different friend. And but yeah, I watched it twice and it was good both times. So um I definitely can see myself rewatching it again sometime in the future. And I don't think I ever watched the movie. So I should do that at some point. Uh yeah, Girls and Panzer is really great. I like using GIFs from it. Dead Man Wonderland. This was another one that I attempted to watch when I was younger, when I was like a teenager, and never. And I made it like a few episodes. Either no, I made it like halfway in, and then I never finished it. And then I went back and rewatched it years later. It's it was it's not bad. It's definitely not great. I feel like there's parts of it that I really like, and then there's parts of it that I just don't. And I'm wondering if maybe reading the manga, I would like it better because the ending felt so unsatisfying. Which I mean, obviously, it's not the whole thing, and there's just, but it felt like it left too much unanswered for for the anime to feel satisfying. So I'm hoping going and reading the manga will make things make more sense, and I'll like it more. But I don't think I'm gonna get around to reading the manga for a long time. The whole premise of it just feels bad and unfair. Like, do you really believe that this kid killed his entire fucking class? Like, seriously? You genuinely believe that? That's so fucking stupid. But, whatever. It wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. It's cool execution, and I really like the concept, and I like all the ideas that presents, and the way it presents it, even. But just, I don't know, something about it just meh. I don't know. It wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. Um, Now I just have Yukari on my screen because I was looking up her name earlier. Um, Sister's All You Need. Sister's All You Need is fucking incredible. I wish more people talked about it. It's amazing and awesome. And I mean, I understand some people being thrown off by considering that it has like you think it's gonna be a show about incest, both from the title and from the like concept. It's not. Um, once at least in the light novels, once Itsuki learns that Chihiro is a girl, he actually stops writing incest stuff because then it makes him uncomfortable after that, which is really funny. And if it goes the exact opposite direction you think it's going to, but I could gush about the light novels because I have completely finished the light novel series, and it's one of my favorite light novels of all time, as I said earlier. But just the anime by itself is so good. Characters are fucking incredible. Chihiro is amazing. That whole conflict with her setting that up once you find out that she is a girl, you can just tell that's going to become a problem in the future, and it like doesn't happen in the manga or in the anime, obviously, but it's what we do get to see is so impressive. It's unfortunate that we don't get to meet some of the really good characters that we get to meet later on, but the main cast that we do have is impressive. All the love dynamics going on in this is so, like, it feels like it should get kind of annoying, but it doesn't somehow. It all stays cohesive and makes sense and feels like prevalent without being obnoxious, you know? Like, you know Nayuta is gonna win, obviously, because she's pining after him the entire time. You know that she's gonna get him in the end. Um, I'm trying to think of, like, I don't want to go too much into light novels because the light novels don't really have any bearing on the anime, you know? But I just love the light novels so much that it's hard not to have that love kind of infect the anime as well. If I want to be honest with it, it's not SS. The light novels are SSS, but the anime is probably down in SS. Um, but man, the concepts and everything. The look into what it's like to be a light novel author is really fascinating and interesting to me. And getting to see what that's like from someone who obviously has worked in the business, because again, the same person that made Haganai. Um, and just getting to learn about that stuff from him, from like the main character, was really cool. And then you get to see the different aspects of it, where you have Nayata, who's like the one who doesn't write very often but gets like insane shit. But then you have Itsuki, who like is common, like writes the niche stuff, but he's really popular in that niche. And then you have the other main guy who's like the generic one, who he writes the popular stuff and gets an anime made, and he's disappointed about it, even though it's, you know, at first, at least at first, he's disappointed about it at first. Like writing the generic stuff that sells well, you have all these different aspects of the industry that you get to see, and it's really fascinating and cool, and it's genuinely like just interesting to watch and to learn about. And I really wish people gave this more attention, but I know some people never would because they were just gonna think it's about incest when it's not. Yeah, really good anime. I wish more people would watch it and also read it. Violet Evergarden. Probably one of the most beautiful anime I've ever watched. Probably, I think it's only, I think it's second only to Oshinoko in terms of just like pure beauty. It's just the way every single thing looks, the way everything is animated, the way everything is drawn, all the art. It's so goddamn drop dead gorgeous that it's genuinely one of the most impressive things I've ever seen. I really, really wish there was more. And I don't think I ever watched the movie, but I did watch me and Ark watched the entire anime together, and we both agree that's one of the best things we've ever watched together. It's just so good. It's so amazing. I really, really wish I could see more. Such an intriguing story, such a nice, like, slight mystery to it, such a nice presentation. It's kind of an anthology with some loosely connected threads wrapped around things, and I really like how it's presented, and I really like the Violet. I think that's her name, right? Um, Let me check. I don't remember. Yeah. because it's like a real thing that kind of did exist, the ghost writing letters thing. Um, but given this like slight change to it to make it feel more like it feels like fantasy when it's really not. The most fantasy thing about it, I believe, is her arm, and it's so, or her arm, her hands, and it's so well done. Just the way that looks every time that she takes her gloves off to type something, and the way that her slowly learning about emotions, and trying to understand the last words of the guy that she liked, and trying to understand that. That means it's very similar to like Rearin in that way. Um, and it's so emotionally hard hitting. I think it did get me emotional at one point. I don't remember. It's been a little while, admittedly. Um, but I just remember finding it so amazing, and it was genuinely like the most beautiful anime I'd ever seen until we watched like Oshinoko, and then that just kind of blew it out of the water a little bit. But it's still absolutely gorgeous. Um, yeah, fantastic fantastic anime. I wish more people watched it. I wish more people just talked about it in general. Damn, where do I want it? I think I'll keep it where it is. Waiting in the Summer. This was like a surprise one for me. I I I think just kind of stumbled onto this as an anime because I think one day I was just looking up like short anime to watch because I really wanted to watch something, but I want to watch something short, and I was like, oh hey, this seems like a pretty cool concept. And I invited my friend to watch it with me, and we just like sat down and watched it over the course of a couple sessions, and it was really good. It wasn't anything like spectacular or anything out of this world or anything, but it was definitely like a concept that I'd never really like seen done before. Art is really pretty, the characters are amazing, the chain of like the dramatic chain of crushes is so funny to me. That's like like A likes B, who likes C, who likes D, who likes E, and it's just like it's so funny to me just whenever they're presented with that kind of stuff, because it's like, oh, but the main two at the D and E get together, and then everybody else is just fucked. And I don't know, it's you would think that'd be kind of disappointing, but it's honestly kind of funny. The ending is a bit ambiguous, but it leaves off on a pretty hopeful note, and that makes me happy. And I do wish we had more, but I think it's pretty nice for what it is. It's short and sweet, It didn't overstay its welcome, and it told what it wanted, what it needed to tell, and then left. And I think that's really cool. And again, a very unique concept of like an alien coming down. I don't remember why she was there, but then falling in love with the guy, and having him fall in love with her back, and like they actually do get together before the very end, which I always appreciate in an anime, when the main characters actually get together before the show ends. And yeah, it's generally just like a pretty chill, like fun anime. It doesn't feel too high stakes. The ending is like dramatic and slightly higher, but doesn't feel too bad. And then the ending, like I said, is hopeful, and that makes me happy. And yeah, I think it's a pretty decent anime that deserves a little bit more attention. Yeah, we'll put you right there. Dress Up Darling. I haven't seen the second season, but I watched the first season with friends, and it was really good. Just seeing the relationship between these two slowly progressing, especially when he calls her beautiful. It's and they have that first moment, and then like the first realization after she's like, oh, and then basically falling in love with him from then on. It's really cute. Her grappling with her feelings for him, but also like the way that she like gets embarrassed about some things but not others. And then the whole, of course, the whole scene in the hotel was fucking amazing. I love that scene so much. It's one of my favorite things ever. And just like seeing all the different cosplay, seeing the beautiful art of everything, learning about cosplay and how much goes into all of it when you make it from scratch and everything. Super fascinating, and I do want to watch the second season at some point. Especially knowing that they do eventually end up together. That definitely helped, like, with and not having it be like at the very end, you know. That at least does make me happy knowing. Again, I always like knowing that like the couple does like get together and it's not just right at the end, you know, because that's more interesting. That makes a thing more interesting, like Chunibyo. Having them get together and be together for like the entire second season makes that show so much better, and I like getting to see those dynamics. But yeah, Dress Up Darling's really good. I really can't wait to watch the second season at some point. If once there's so many things on here that I just haven't had the time to watch. Um, uh, top of, trying to decide if I want the bottom of A minus, the top of near the top of B plus. I think I'll put it right underneath DR3. This is another anime that I tried to watch when I was younger. So, funny story. I think I told this before with the Chunibyo thing. I was trying to look for, after seeing a scene from another, I tried to look up, you know, anime girl with black hair and eye patch, and I found Rika instead. But then I found out about it. I did eventually realize to find out about another, and I tried to watch it, and I couldn't get super into it. But then eventually I went and watched a couple years ago. I finally sat down and watched the entire thing, and it was honestly not as good as I thought it was gonna be, but it was still like. But I think that's just because my expectations, having been around for years, were just so high that it couldn't really reach it, but it was still like an incredibly good show. All the deaths were really cool. All the mystery was amazing. The way it gets resolved at the end, the final twist with the one woman was fucking insane. That entire final set, the final setting in like that one school, everything, it was all very well done, very very cool, and very like satisfying ending, to be honest. Uh, it has like a unique charm to it that I feel like most other like horror stuff doesn't really have. Like it feels violent without being overly gory most of the time, you know, like Corpse Party is. And I kind of appreciate that about it. There's something more special about it that makes it more unique and more appealing than like Corpse Party. Uh I just wish I could remember anything about the characters other than the main two. Put it here. Zombieland Saga. So the third season is coming out at some point, and I watched this with my boyfriend. Um, Very good. Just seeing all these different. This one deep is like going into like idol stuff. I mean, it doesn't go into it nearly as much as like Oshinoko, but just seeing the different generations of idols, seeing how they dealt with stuff in their current time and stuff like that. Even having like a low key trans character, like who doesn't. It's not even blatant that she's meant to be trans. I think it's a lot more subtle, but it's something you can definitely notice. And like once I found out, I was like, oh hey, that's a really cool trans representation. I think it's really well done, and it's like the fact that it's getting a third season is kind of. I mean that doesn't really happen to a lot of anime, so clearly people like it if it's getting a third season. Although the ramp up of insanity, the fact that they're going to aliens in the next season, is making me very nervous. But I think this show is already so absurd in everything that it does that I already feel like it's gonna pull it off. It's gonna find a way to pull it off pretty well. So I don't think I'm too worried. However, um, just everything. All the characters are really good. They have like compelling stories, compelling backstories. All the characters feel like they're important and matter. You root for every one of them. You love seeing them get through their struggles and everything. And the main guy too is also just outright insane, and I love him, and he's such a fucking amazing manager. The scene of just pulling up in the fucking car and just like, we gotta go, let's go, 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 go. It's just really funny. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the third season, even if I'm a little bit nervous, but I think they're gonna pull it off because the comedy is already so good, and I can't wait to see how it happens. Yeah, I think just actually no, put it let's put it here. Monthly Girl is Nozaki. It was alright. It was like it was okay. The trope of the guy being completely ignorant, even when the girl is outright telling him that she's in love with him, is kind of silly, and that the fact that that's the whole what it's all based on is kind of bad. But I think it's fine. The characters make up for it enough for that initial blunder that I like it. Especially the one girl that dresses like a guy and confuses a lot of people is fun, and her dynamic with the one teacher is really interesting. I think it was a teacher, like the gym. I think it's like the gym teacher. I don't remember, but their dynamic was really cool. And I think all the characters are interesting to all look at, and the comedy is pretty fun. Um, it's just it feels like it is lacking in a lot of stuff that I would like. I don't like the presentation of it. I think it's there are moments where it just feels kind of bland, and the I don't know, it's just something about it just doesn't really stand out compared to a lot. I feel like it's one of the least memorable things that I've watched. Um I don't know. I would be willing to give it a second chance someday, maybe. Frieren. Frieren is amazing. I haven't again, once again, I haven't seen the second season because I was going to watch it with my friends, but we fell off of it in the middle of the first season, and that's kind of unfortunate. But I do want to go back and not only finish the first season, but watch the second season as well, because I know there's a lot of really cool stuff going on. The fact that it was like the anime that finally dethroned Full Metal Alchemist on my anime list was really cool, and I think it's still there. I think it's still at number 1, or at the very least, I think it's still beating Full Metal Alchemist. Yeah, it's still at the top. Oh, ReZero is past Full Metal Alchemist now? Damn. But yeah, Frieren was like the first anime to pass Full Metal Alchemist and then stay on top. Even though it only has has less than half of the reviews of Full Metal Alchemist, it's just considered that good. It's considered legitimately the best anime on my anime list, which is I feel like says a lot about it. And it deserves it. It's an incredible show. The world is fascinating. The characters are so fun and memorable, and their dynamics are so interesting and fun. It has plenty of room for comedy while also being able to pull back and be super serious when it needs to be. Having the whole confrontation with the one demon and the scales and stuff, I genuinely think that whole thing of her with the mana revealing she was hiding her mana and using that against her, and then telling her to fucking kill herself. I think that's one of the coolest scenes I've ever seen in any anime ever. It's so cool, and just the entire world that they've made, and the whole thing being just like the post game of like an RPG video game essentially, is just cool. The way and the fighting, showing how things have advanced and how they use a normal the spell with the one demon, and how he had this super powerful spell that could kill anything, blah 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 blah, and then he uses it and it's just like a normal defensive spell. or a normal attack spell, because things have advanced so far beyond has what he had, and that's insane. I like that stuff you never think about. It's like it's showing this level of, technological advance, but with magic, which I've never seen before, which is really cool. And Frieren is just such a special thing, and I really hope. I mean, it's so popular. It's gonna be able to get. It's gonna be able to tell its whole story. I have no doubt. And I can't. I am excited to watch the second season when I can get around to it. God, there's so many things I need to watch the second season of. Holy shit. But yeah, I'm eager to watch it, and I can't wait. Such a good show. Yeah, we'll keep it where it is right there. Tomo-chan is a girl. This one was fun. I picked up the for an omnibus, the first omnibus at Barnes & Noble one time by random chance. And then I read it and I really liked it, and I was told there was an anime that adapted the entire thing, and so I went and watched it, and it was really good, and I really liked it. It's definitely like, it's good. It just doesn't feel very memorable. Nothing about it really stands out a whole lot. The romance is genuinely, I think it's genuinely well done. Just him slowly, like, being like, he does know that she is a girl, obviously, but he doesn't want to see her that way because he doesn't want to ruin their friendship, and he's worried about all that. But like, keep pushing and pushing and pushing until eventually he's forced to look at her that way, and then he eventually does realize that he loves her, and they have the whole thing. And then I do think the whole thing at the end about, like, having to, like, prove himself to be worthy enough to date her was kind of stupid, which, to be fair, if I remember correctly, even she kind of pointed out how dumb that was. So, but the way it gets I always thought that was kind of dumb, but it does get resolved eventually, so I don't really care that much, I suppose. The side characters were really cool. I don't remember their names, but I know there's the one girl that was, like, kind of like like Tomo's friend that was really blah 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 blah. And then her dynamic with the other girl that, if I remember correctly, she was like a rich idiot. And their dynamic was really fascinating. I shipped them pretty hard from what I remember. The story, yeah, it felt like there was a lot of loose ends that were kind of left untied. Maybe they get wrapped up better in the manga. Who knows? I think it's good for what it is, but what it is like, doesn't stand out that much, really, unfortunately. Man. Gushing over magical girls. This was an, funny, this is still one of the, like, only magical girl stuff that I've seen. I've mostly watched just, like, magical girl stuff that breaks tropes instead of, that, like, plays on tropes instead of legitimate magical girl stuff. I think the only legit magical girl thing that I've watched was, Matoi the Sacred Slayer and Pretty Cure, and I think that's it. But yeah, gushing over magical girls. The characters are fucking amazing. The characters are definitely the strongest part. Utena is really, first of all, Utena being named after Revolutionary Girl Utena, that's really cute. I've never seen Revolutionary Girl, but I want to watch it eventually. But having her named after her is really cute. Her dynamics with, what is it? What was it? Was it Aqua? The blue girl. The dynamic with her was really cool, like, just wanting to corrupt her, but then not wanting to go too far as to break her from actually being a magical girl. Because I love that idea that she is like the villain, but the villain being the protagonist, first of all, is cool. Second of all, her just being, like, a normal girl, just like the others, is really cool, and having those dynamics with both her own teammates and with the blue hair girl. And that all stuff is cool. Eventually going against the other villains is cool as well, especially bringing the two over to her side, the locking them in a room until they tell each other their feelings. I understand a lot of people don't like that scene because it feels creepy, to force them to do that stuff. But to be fair, they did already have feelings for each other. They just needed some encouragement. And I like that scene. I think it's kind of sweet. But just bringing over more people to their side, than having that ending where it turns out that Utena's like unimaginably powerful once she wants to be. She can become like 12 stars. When before the most powerful one was like 3 or 4. Kind of insane. And then same with God, I don't remember. I'm so shit with names. The other girl, the girl that's in love with her, and also revealing that she actually is more powerful than she lets on. And just eventually, the way that Utena stops the main girl, or I guess Baizer, if you want to call it Baizer, Magia Baizer. The way she stops the main villain is also really cool. Just like, and funny, just like seeing her as a child more, so she fucking dominates the hell out of her until she's begging for her to stop. It's so stupid. It's so stupid, and it's so much fan service. But I really like how it's presented. I really like how it's done, and yeah, I cannot wait for the second season. I'm very eagerly looking forward to it. Hmm. It's gonna go an A plus. I'm just trying to figure out where. I think right here. We're on the final row. Keko Kamen. This is just kind of a silly one. I was like, oh hey, there's an anime about this like girl who runs around fighting villain, like a terrible evil people naked, and it's like, okay, as this I'm listening, and I watched it, and it's like 3 episodes, and they're okay. Actually, I think it's 4 episodes. I don't remember. It's okay. Um, Obviously, there's like, it's mostly fan service, and I do like the fan service, and it's really good, especially this type of blah blah blah. But yeah, it's fine for what it is. Obviously, it's just kind of a silly concept. That's although a silly concept that is more popular than you would think. There's like 2 live action things, and then the anime and a manga. It's like, there's more to it than you think there is. But it's fine for what it is. It's just fan service mostly. So villains are very funny, if not stupid, and kind of overly evil. But I mean, I guess that's kind of just to add to the absurdity of it. It's unfortunate we never get to learn who it is. I mean, I looked it up, and apparently it's like a group of people that all just like look similar enough to pass as the same person or something like that. But I do wish we could at least have learned the identity of who it was. Oh well. Yeah, I think it's fine at the bottom of B plus. Onimai! Onimai is really good. More people should watch it. I know that it's like a kind of that kind of anime, or at least like that kind of manga too. That not people are gonna be into that. But I think it's really cute. The art style is fucking gorgeous. It's so cute, and the pastel colors are so warm and pleasant, and like kind of like a trans allegory is really fun. Her Mahiro eventually coming to realize that she would rather be a girl than a guy, because being a girl has led to her having more fun in life, having more friends, having more experiences that she will hold on to, and then staying that way. And then apparently in the side manga, in the spinoff, we learn that she stays a girl all the way to high school, which I'm not surprised by, and I really hope we get to like keep going, because so far I think that like time does progress in the manga. So, but focusing on the anime, I really hope it gets a second season. It's been long enough, and there hasn't been like any news of one, so I'm feeling a little hesitant that there is going to be one. But this is one of my best friend's favorite anime of all time, with good reason. It's a fucking amazing anime, and I really hope it gets a second season, because it really deserves it. It's so good. And we stopped right before meeting. I think it's Nayata, and just all the characters are so memorable and so good, and just Mahiro is such an amazing protagonist. Again, it's like there's the whole trans allegory. It's a big trans allegory essentially. I don't think that was the intention for it to be, but it basically is one. Just her discovering Mahiro discovering that, hey, turning into a girl has made me enjoy my life more. I feel more happy and fulfilled in my life, and now I have new friends, and they're really cool. And it's like all that stuff. And then Mobiji's crush on her is so precious and so cute. We need to don't think too hard about the implications. But to be fair, Mahiro is like just like I mean, the thing about Mahiro is that he's such a good protagonist because he could very easily take advantage of the fact that he is a girl now, and he could like peek on people and like take advantage of like other people around him, but he chooses not to. He chooses to try and be as respectful as possible. Of course, he has moments where he like lets his like lewd impulses take over, but it's never anything too bad. And even then, he puts himself in check enough for it to not be too creepy or too bad. And I really like that for him as a protagonist. It shows that he has, respect for people and wants to stay a good person. And it's really good, and more people should watch it. I love the manga as well. I love going through it. It was a blast reading it after rewatching the anime again the second time. I feel like some of this is gonna be my bias from reading the manga, but I don't know. Again, the trans allegory is really good, so. If we're going strictly by the anime, it's gonna be here. I think if I did want to include the manga, it would probably be an SS. Well, yeah. Matoi the Sacred Slayer. Kind of a somewhat standard magical girl anime. It's the first time I watched like an actual magical girl anime. It's nothing too impressive, admittedly, but the characters are fun. The idea is interesting. The way that the magical girl stuff works is makes me happy. Just like as someone who is a fan of, maybe I shouldn't say that. It speaks to some of my like preferences and stuff, and like the comedy and funniness and slight fan service of like the fact that like you like it doesn't keep your clothes and you're naked after transforming and everything. I don't know. I kind of like it. It's funny. And although it's mostly used for that like that first, it's only really used like for the first transformation where she has to get home naked, and then it's like kind of not fully addressed after that, which is fine, but it's like it feels a little bit like you could have done more with that as like a concept. And it's unfortunate that you don't, but oh well. The whole main plot was like it's fine, but it's like not, it wasn't as engaging as I felt like it could have been. I didn't really care so much about the main conflict as I did just about the characters by themselves. And but the characters are indeed really strong. The three of them kind of becoming a pretty good, powerful team altogether is really good. It honestly reminded me a lot of like Prisma Ilia from I haven't watched, I watched like the first season and a half of Prisma Ilia. And like it kind of reminds me a lot of like that, just like the like a team of like magical girls coming together and like stuff like that. I don't know. It's probably not a good comparison. No, it's okay. I feel like I should have more to say, but I don't know. The relationship with her father and everything going on with that, I felt like was fine, but I felt like it also was like missing something, even if I really can't fully can't think exactly of why. But also learning that her mother was also, I think her mother was also like, we found out that her mother was a magical girl too, right? I don't remember. It's admittedly, it's been a while. But, yeah. Hmm. A place further than the universe. So, this was another like random anime that my roommate asked me to watch with him at some point, and I was like, the concept I was something that I'd never really considered for like an anime before, and I found to be interesting, but was like I did not think it would be something that I would actually be like super into, that I would find very interesting. It's like, oh, it's girls going to a trip in Antarctica, but then it actually manages to be really good. The characters and their backstories and the reasons why they want to go is really cool. The way that they all like kind of become a friend group all together slowly over time. That because like it's like 3 episodes before they actually like set off. Um, but it's like it's nice seeing them all becoming just like closer and closer group of friends all together on this trip, and getting to see them all like feel more fulfilled one way or the other. And then but the ending I didn't like. I remember not liking the ending very much, and I think it's just because part of it felt so sudden, and it felt like such a drastic turn for what was supposed to be kind of like a more like slightly dramatic but kind of feel good anime. I don't know. Something about it just didn't speak to me very well, but everything up to that point is really good. The characters and their interactions with each other within the group are fun too, especially the main girl. Main girl is really interesting, especially like just having everybody be like, "Oh, you'll never get to go to Antarctica," blah 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 blah, and then she actually like does. And then I think she actually becomes like a pretty big talk when she gets back. I don't remember, but it just made me happy to be like, "Yeah, fuck you. She got to go to Antarctica. How's that fucking feel?" She got to fulfill her dreams. What about you? You know? Um and then actually learning about the process of going to Antarctica, preparing for it, going to Antarctica, and then what it's like to actually be there at the research facilities was really cool. And you could tell that they did a lot of research on it. And um it was just like, again, it's kind of like with Cells at Work, just kind of getting to learn something along the way, you know? I don't think I can hear that. I'm gonna close my window. But yeah, so it's good. It's kind of underrated. It's not one of the best things out there, but I was pleasantly surprised by how good it was. Oh boy, we're starting to get to like the really fucking heavy hitters here. I think the only one here that is not like a heavy hitter is Henseki, which is fucking atrocious and terrible, and then Painting and Stalking, which is just like good but not like great, and then everything else here is fucking insane. Fucking Tanya. So when I watched Isekai Quartet when I was younger. Um, at the time I'd only watched ReZero and Konosuba, and I'd never watched Overlord, never watched Tanya, but Tanya has always been on my radar for like ever since then, and I've always been super interested in it. I've heard so many things about it. I've seen images of it, and it just looks so cool and so gritty. Learning that it was like a war anime thing was like, I was like, maybe I'm not gonna like it because I'm not super into like war stuff, especially like World War stuff. That stuff always never fascinated me that much. But then I fucking watched it, and holy shit, it's one of the greatest anime I've ever watched. I think it's, no exaggeration, probably my favorite anime opening of all time. I have it in my playlist, in my music playlist. I fucking love listening to the extended version. It's so fucking good. Um, show is fantastic, and Tanya's an amazing protagonist. I love the mixture of her being like using her knowledge of war from our world to help them basically win an alternate World War I. Um, mixed with the general like insanity of herself, plus also just the way she uses her like one of the best scenes in the show is they're trying to attack an enemy base, and it's like, oh, but like customary is to warn somebody that you're attacking before you do. And so what she does is she puts on her most childish voice to be like, oh, we're gonna attack you. And then but so they don't take it seriously, but since they technically warned them, they are allowed to attack, and they are able to get rid of a lot of their enemies that way. And that's so evil, and it's so smart, and it's so creative and cool. And just the way that they incorporate the magic into the war stuff is so unique and interesting, and it makes the combat way cooler than it would be normally. Because I think about the thing about war stuff is that it's just not really interesting to watch. But then you have the magic involved with it, and it makes it fucking awesome. And then you have the other characters literally named Mary Sue, and it's like, I'm excited to see where that goes. The second season is, I think it's either currently or just finished airing recently. I haven't watched it yet because I want to watch this with Arc, and I want to have us watch the second season together blind. So I'm waiting to watch it. But I'm so fucking excited to watch it. It's gonna be so fucking good. I really hope he likes it because it's genuinely one of my favorite anime of all time. And holy shit, I wish more people watched it. I mean, it is fairly popular, but I wish more people talked about it because it deserves so much more. Just in her like defying God to the point that he just keeps trying to fuck her over, but she still manages to like get out of it somehow. It's just impressive, and I'm so eager to see where everything goes. God, it's so good. 100 Girlfriends. I cannot properly describe to you how perfect 100 Girlfriends is to me. Admittedly, I still have a hard time deciding whether I like it more than Psyche K or not. I have not watched Psyche K since I was 16, so I would need to rewatch Psyche K to know for sure whether I like 100 Girlfriends more than it or not. At the moment, I want to say I like 100 Girlfriends more. Third season is currently airing, and I've been really enjoying it. It's one of the few anime that I've actually been watching it as it comes out, although I've been watching the dub because I watched it in dub, and I'm so used to the dub voices I would never want to watch sub. But I also just like, I think the dub is just better, frankly. God, it's so perfect of a show. Every single I love every single character. Even when you go to the manga, and there's like 30 something girlfriends now, I think the lowest rating I would give one of the girlfriends is like a C minus. There's no girlfriend that I would say is like a D or worse. There is no girlfriend that I actively dislike. And all the ones in the anime are fucking amazing. Shizuka became my second favorite character of all time, period. The only character that I like more than Shizuka in all of media is Chiaki Nanami. But even then, I would consider Shizuka leagues cuter than Chiaki. Shizuka is so perfect as a character. I love her so much. And I mean, if you couldn't tell by the way that I've been going through the manga volume by volume, how much I love this. I went and binged, after I finished watching season 2, for the first time, I went and binged the entire manga in like less than a month. I think, something like that. And I keep up with new chapters as they come out. I even joined a server for 100 Girlfriends stuff with like the Chaos Squared server and stuff. 100 Girlfriends is, to me, just it is a perfect piece of media. It does. I mean, if you really want to get into it, it does have the manga does have flaws with some of the later girlfriends, but the anime, as what we've seen so far, is just outright perfect. It is so funny. It makes me laugh so hard. It's such a perfect twist on the genre that it is. It makes it takes all the genre that it's supposed to be and it twists it so well. It breaks so many of the tropes or twists them around to make them funny and make them absurd. The references are fun without feeling too intrusive. The girlfriends are all perfect. The cast is amazing. The dub acting is so fucking incredible. Rentaro is such an amazing person that even I've seen guys, like straight guys, completely straight men, be like, man, you know what? I'd want Rentaro as a boyfriend because he's just that fucking perfect and amazing. But he's not perfect in a way that feels like a Gary Stu. He feels just like an absurdist monster of a man, and it works so well for this kind of comedy. I'm just blown away by how fucking incredible this is and how hard I fell in love with this series. And God, I really hope they get 4 seasons because I want to see Akko. Akko is like my second favorite character after Shizuka. And if they only got 4 seasons and then stopped after that, I would be satisfied because at least I'd get to see my beautiful Akko, like, animated. But I would feel satisfied after that. But even if it did stop at 3 seasons, I still think it would be a fucking monumental run. Especially since most comedy anime doesn't get that far. But I mean, you know what? If Rent a Girlfriend got as far as it did, 100 Girlfriends fucking deserves it, you know? Like, come on. Please, please. It fucking deserves it. I love this show. I love this manga. I love this franchise and this series. It's fucking amazing. And I hope it continues on until the very end, for the manga at least. Immaculate. Reincarnated as a slime. I'd heard for a very, very long time about how good Reincarnated as a Slime was, and then we went and watched it. I watched it with friends. I watched all 3 seasons. I know the 4th season is currently airing. I watched all 3 of seasons of it with my friends over the course of several months, and I discussed it with Bofuri, how the progression of starting off as just like a normal slime and just quickly becoming overpowered to the point that he starts developing his own society. He creates an entire kingdom. He starts bringing in he figures out way to bring modern stuff from his world into this one. The progression of all of it is so amazing to me. I know some people complain that the show is too slow in the first season. I never thought it was. I was captivated and interested the entire time. I love like her Rimuru's interaction with the one girl that he eventually gets his body from, and that whole thing and the way they kind of fall in love. I love all the characters. They're so memorable. Even if I can't remember their names, I can remember them at least. They're incredibly memorable. You come to root for every single one of them. The anime doesn't really get too serious most of the time. It stays like a nice, relaxing comedy, which I really like. But then it is able to get to those dramatic moments when it needs to. And there are stakes. I mean, one of the like big characters actually dies and has to get like they have to go through an entire Rimuru has to become a fucking demon lord to be able to actually resurrect her. And it's like, that's cool. It's like, yeah, you could say, oh, but they didn't actually stay dead, so it's not real stakes. But it's like, had to go through and become a fucking he had to go through the entire process of being a demon lord, which had a bunch of risks and had to involve killing like thousands of people in order for him to actually bring her back. The resurrection was fucking earned, you know? It's not like DR3 where Kyoko like should have stayed dead. No, it's earned. It's like actually her resurrection is actually earned, and I was just seeing all of the progression of everything and just like all that stuff. It just tickles my brain in such a way that makes me feel really good and very happy. And I can't wait to. I think season 4 is like 60 episodes or something like that. Like, holy shit! I can't wait to read more. or watch more. And I was kind of wanting to cover it volume by volume, like I did with 100 Girlfriends at some point. Um, man, oh, it's so good. Yeah, I understand some people's flaws and problems with it, but I personally think it's really well executed in everything that it tries to do. Um, yeah, can't wait to watch more of it and see where it goes, especially now that we're starting to learn like what the next villain is going to be. I don't know if he's really going to be the main villain. I don't know who if there's going to be over like a main villain or anything, really. But it's just plus the fact that they actually get to learn that he is from another world. That's not something that happens in isekai enough, and it kind of bothers me that it doesn't happen in isekai enough. But it's cool that they did that. Panty and Stocking. This is gonna be just both seasons mixed into one. First season is really good. I think the first season is better than the second season. Well, actually, no. I think they're both kind of on the same level, but they have positives and negatives over each other. First season is way too much gross out. I know that's like that was part of it, but like there was too much gross out for me. I was getting a little blah at some points. But I like the voice acting way better than in the second season. I liked the comedy and the storylines a little bit better in the first season. However, the second season with Scanty and Nisox being a part of the team with them, I think was way better and way more interesting. The dynamic between them all is really cool, especially what is it? Is it Let me double check something. Yeah, Panty and Nisox having that kind of interaction together and made me like ship them like that, and then just that one episode with the dance made me ship them super hard. Um and then just Panty and Stocking's dynamic with each other and the way they bounce off of each other super well with everything is really fun. The parody throughout the entire thing of all the different things going on, especially like the Transformers parody, was so fucking random, but I honestly really liked it. It was so stupid and funny. It is just completely ridiculous, and it's amazing. Um, and then you have Garter Belt, just doing his own thing, just being a weirdo and kind of a creep, but the way they present it is comedic enough for you not to worry too much about it, at least for me. Um, and then you have Brief, who is like he's so much better in the first season. That ending bit with him and Panty at the end of the first season is really cool. Them actually like him finally getting her attention by just being handsome and being really like not stacked. That's a girl. Brief being very well hung. It's funny that that's what like actually getting to like make her like notice him and like they actually get to like have sex and everything. It's kind of insane. But then the way that it like barely gets addressed in the second season is really annoying, and like and then it just randomly comes up at the end of the second season. It's like, oh yeah, they went on to like get married and have kids and blah blah blah, and that's like, and it's like the setup for season 3, which I almost am wondering if it's even gonna happen. If it does happen, I'll watch it. But I am a little bit hesitant that it's gonna happen. It's got its positive and it's got its negatives. It's really good. It's really, really good. It's just that there's parts of it that there's parts of it that I really, really, really like, and the parts of it that I really, really don't like. It's kind of like two extremes that kind of equal out to like a middle ground at times. Oh yeah, then the two Angel brothers in the second season are just not good. I don't know, I didn't like them very much. Which, I mean, I know they're supposed to be, like, part of the villains of that season, but it's like, I don't know. Scanty and Nisox were villains too, and they were far more enjoyable even before they joined the team than those two were, you know, so. I don't know. I hope we've seen Heaven now. I wonder if we're ever gonna get to see Hell. I guess we'll find out. Yeah, so, where would I put you? Here? I think... No. I think I just have One Punch Man too high. Okay. 5 more. I'm in love with the villainess. This is one of the awesome... This is probably, like... I don't know if it's my favorite Yuri thing that I've ever watched. It's definitely one of, if it's not my favorite. Ray and Claire are so cute together. Ray is so adorable. The just the way she spends the entire anime, like, very clearly pining after her, but never wanting to, at first never wanting to go too far because she knows that she feels like she has the advantage over her and she doesn't want to do that. She wants to earn it. Until the end where she's like, but this girl's challenging me, she's gonna take her, and I don't think she's good for her. And, like, coming and swooping in at the end, and I mean, I am a sucker for gay for you, that trope, where, like, a straight girl eventually comes to realize that they like women because of one specific person, and that's what happens with Claire. And I love it so much. I think it's done so well, and so wonderfully. And Ray is just so unendingly adorable and cute, and the way that she does, like, use the game to her advantage at first without trying to overstep her bounds, and then being like, you know what? Fuck it. She's right. I love Claire. I want to fucking date Claire. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna fucking destroy you, and gets the fucking thing at the end to win her affections, and then Claire just feels, you will not touch Ray, she's mine. And just in front of everybody is so precious and so cute. And then just like, God, I want to see them kiss. And I'm absolutely going to read the light novels now. I can't wait to read them. I think they're so good. I mean, I can hope and pray for a second season, but I doubt it's gonna happen. I think it's probably been too long, and I don't think it was popular enough. But I wish we could have seen an animated kiss, but oh well. I can't wait to read it. This is probably, like, I know I've mentioned the light novels for a few different series, but I think this is probably the one that I'm most eager to read the light novels for, is I'm in love with the villainess. Because I just want to see them together. I want to see what they're like when they're dating. Because the little bits that we get at the end with Claire fantasizing about marrying her, and then their kind of flirtation at the end, it's all so cute. I thought the way that everybody supports them, and being like, oh yeah, I mean, she's been in love with you this entire time, and it's good that you're finally, like, returning her affections and everything. And this is really cute, and they're all so supportive, even all the guys. It's so funny, and I love it so much. So much potential, so much creative stuff done for this, and just the fact that she's so open about it from the very beginning, then it still takes forever to realize that, for Claire to realize that she's being serious and she genuinely loves her. I love it. I love it all so much. Oh, Hensuki, fuck this anime. I think we can get rid of D tier. Okay, know what? I'll put it in D. I won't be that harsh. Man, Hensuki feels like 100 Girlfriends, but done wrong in every possible way. The one girl, the sadist girl, she had such a cute design, and seem to have such a cute personality and seem to be so fun and cute and nice that I was like, oh, hey, I think I'm gonna really like this character. I think she's gonna be really fun. I'm really gonna like her. And then she's revealed to be, a sadist, which is fine. I mean, I like Plutia from Neptunia, and she's done fine enough. But then I don't know, something about this sadist girl. It's just like she's like, oh yeah, I don't really give a shit if you don't consent. I'm gonna do this to you anyway. I don't care if you don't like it. I'm not gonna, like there's a difference between being a sadist and being a sadist that still cares about the other person. Like Plutia, at least in Neptunia, yeah, she is kind of intense and she does kind of overstep her bounds sometimes, but she still genuinely cares about her friends and everything. She still genuinely cares about their feelings and wants to keep them safe and wants to protect them. This girl doesn't give a shit. She just wants someone to get her rocks off with. That's it. That's all she cares about. And then she literally, like, suffocates him, too, and almost kills him. And that sucks. And that's just one. Then you get to the only two characters that were not fucking annoying were the scent girl, the sister, and I mean the guy wasn't that annoying either. I think that's it. I think everybody else was just so fucking annoying. And it's like the funny thing is, the only redeeming part of the anime to me was the last couple episodes. Once the other stuff starts to calm down and it mostly focuses on the other characters, like the girl who has the crush on the guy who is on the other guy who's younger than her, and like that whole thing. And like admittedly, while it is kind of annoying that he's like, oh, but I only like younger women at first, the fact that he does kind of start to fall for her eventually and like change his ways and try to be better for her does make me happy. I'm glad that there's that character growth and like there's that hope in the future that they're probably going to end up together eventually. That was so interesting. And then getting to the sister stuff, like yes, it's like an incest thing. Well, I mean, technically it's not because they're not actually related. They're not even step siblings. They're not even related at all. Because what happens is that it's revealed that the sister is the one who gave the love letter to the guy, but then she reveals that they're not actually related, and that her parents die in a car accident, and then the main guy's family was like, okay, we'll take you in because we'll take you in. And she essentially kind of became his sister, but she's not related to him by blood, and she's technically not even his stepsister. She's just somebody that lived with him long enough that they basically kind of became siblings. And I do like that dynamic. I think that's interesting. That whole dilemma of him having to figure out, like, should I keep seeing her as my sister, or should I see her as a potential partner? That whole thing, when it's not shackled down by like actual like familial bonds, is really interesting, and I think that's really cool. And it's the best part of the anime, where he has to deal with what his feelings are, and he does eventually decide that he wants to see her as a sister, which is fine, but it leads to more. It's to keep the manga or keep the show, the story going and a little bit longer and everything. And then at the end, they reveal, in the last like couple seconds, they reveal she's an exhibitionist. Which, if they'd made that part of the main show, I would have, that's like the one like kink thing that I would have actually fucking liked. Instead of like an annoying sadist or like a girl who wants to be a dog, or like the person who's obsessed with yaoi to the point of trying to like get them to fucking kiss and shit when they're not into each other. No, we're gonna keep all of that annoying stuff and then not include the kink that I specifically would actually like. It's just so fucking annoying. And I know there's a light novel series, and honestly, I am kind of considering reading it just to see if it gets better. But honestly, it's like, this is genuinely the worst anime I've ever watched, because it genuinely just feels like 100 Girlfriends just done so poorly. And that last part is, and it's like, even then, it goes from like a 3 out of 10 to like a 5 out of 10. at the end. And it's like, it's still just okay. It's still not even that good. It's not good. It's fucking bad. And the sister thing is the only good part of it. And that because it's the only part that I actually give a shit about. That doesn't annoy me. And her confession was so cute too, and the kiss was so, like, sweet and kind and everything. And it's just, again, the whole dilemma of trying to figure out how you want to see this girl you've spent your entire life with, though you're not actually related to her. And it's like, that's so interesting. Fucking, it just annoys me. This show just fucking annoys me. God. Okay, let's move on. I only got 3 left, and they're all good ones. Oshinoko. Prettiest anime I've ever watched. Genuinely gorgeous. Can't believe that the next season's going to be the final season. I never thought that this anime would be fully adapted when it was first coming out, but then it's like, as soon as season 3 was done, they're like, oh yeah, we're going to finish. We're going to be able to adapt the entire story. And I unfortunately do think I know, I think I did get a spoiler on what the ending, what a part of the ending is, but I don't know. Getting to see, like, it's just, it's beautiful. The look into, like, the idol and acting industry is it's so in-depth and well-researched and well-presented, and it shows every aspect of it, the good and especially the bad. The whole thing is so well-presented. It's the perfect mixture of drama with some slight comedy here and there to help alleviate how heavy it can get. The first episode is so fucking powerful and genuinely got me emotional when I read the volume 1 of the manga. And even when I was watching it, it still got me emotional, even though I already knew what was going to happen. But this is also a special anime because it's an anime that I've been watching with ARC. And it's one of the few things where I'm watching something completely blind and he isn't. Most of the time when we watch stuff, either we're both blind or I have seen it before and I wanted to show him and see what he thinks of it. This is one of the only times where he knows what's going to happen because he's read the entire manga, and I'm completely blind. And I'm experiencing it brand new first time. But the show is so good. I feel like I could spend a while talking about it, but I'm going to try not to. It's the dynamics between Aqua and Ruby is so good, especially once they find out who they are. That whole thing is fun, and I'm curious to see where that goes, because again, I know some stuff about what's going to happen, and I know there's some stuff coming up that's going to be really interesting. We'll see what happens. And the whole thing going on with the weird god thing, I'm so intrigued by what that is that I wasn't when that got introduced in season 2. I think it was season 2. I was so blown away by the fact that it's just like, oh, I mean, I guess the show does start with like reincarnation, so I guess it should have been expected that there was probably more supernatural elements. But it doesn't overstay its welcome, and it doesn't feel like it intrudes too much on the actual like idol and acting stuff, which is like, you know, the main focus and the actual importance of the anime. And that's really good. I'm glad that it doesn't feel too intrusive. Oh man, it's so fucking good. I can't wait I'm so happy it's getting fully adapted. I feel like even once I'm done with the anime, I'll probably go back and reread the manga. And yeah, so good. Can't wait for the final season. I could go on and on. I really could. But I'll refrain. Last thing I want to say though is that Kana Forever fucking deserves better. She deserves so much better. Oh, it's a hard decision, actually. Chunibyo? No, I think that's fine where it is. Pretty Cure. First season of Pretty Cure. this is the first, like, Matoi the Sacred Slayer is a magical girl thing, but I feel like even then, it's still not like the traditional magical girl thing. This is. Pretty Cure is like the definition of a base pretty or magical girl anime, and it is only the first season. This is one of the greatest shows I've ever watched. I don't know why. It's so. I think it's because it's so low stakes. It feels low stakes. It feels comfortable. It became. I was watching this anime during a really rough portion of my life recently, and I think coming home from work and just like sitting down and watching like an episode or two of Pretty Cure kind of formulated it as like a kind of a comfort anime for me. It's I've made an entire video talking about. I made an entire like half an hour video on this channel describing why I like it so much. So if you're really curious as to why I like it, just go watch that video. It's just such a feel-good show. Characters, Nagisa is one of my favorite characters ever. Honoka is fucking amazing. I got emotional at the ending. The fights are kind of, they can feel repetitive, but I still like them all the same. Having a magical girl where they throw hands instead of actually using magic is wonderful, and I cannot wait to watch this entire series. Next time that I do this, I'm probably gonna do this again in like a few years when I have more anime to add. And just expect to see like 10 more Pretty Cure seasons on here, because I am going to commit and I'm gonna watch this entire series. And each season is like, since it's its own thing, technically it's like its own show, they're gonna get their own separate entries. Plus each of them is so different from each other. But for this first one, it's just no. I'm not surprised that Nagisa and Honoka are still the highest rated Pretty Cures of all time. God, I can't. Max Heart has also been really good so far. I'm like 15 episodes in, and I watched the first movie. It's so good so far. It's not as good as the original, I think, but it definitely is pretty good. I love Pretty Cure. I love magical girl stuff. The Pretty Cure is what made me realize that I think I actually really like magical girl stuff, and I want to watch like all magical girl stuff and become an expert. And finally, Reincarnated as a Sword. So, funny thing about the story behind this one was that there was when I had they came up in like a group chat, like a group chat on Discord that I'm in, and they brought up that like the second season of this anime was coming up in October, I believe, and then someone in the group chat was like, "Oh yeah, I really like that show. It's really cute, really fun, whatever." And then they started showing gifs of it, and I was like, and I immediately I immediately fell in love with Fran so hard just from the gifts. And then that immediately caught my interest, and I immediately wanted to watch the show. And so the funny thing is, we were going to, what I do D&D on Fridays, and usually that's for a couple hours, and it was gonna be like, okay, we're gonna have D&D on Friday, and then we can watch a couple, like 2 or 3 episodes of the show to see if I like it. D&D got canceled that Friday, so we were like, okay, let's just watch the show. We're gonna watch like 2 or 3 episodes just to see if I like it. I ended up liking it so much we watched like 8 episodes instead of 3. I fell in love with this anime so bad. Fran is genuinely one of the cutest things that I've ever seen. We watched it in dub, and I don't know about her sub voice, but I know her dub voice is fucking adorable. It's such a perfect like deadpan delivery that still comes off as really cute. I just loved it so much. Now I'm very excited to watch the second season. We watched it in like 2 sessions, so 2 weeks. Honestly, no, less than just a week. Damn. it makes me happy that even to this day, because obviously, I mean, a lot of my like top ones up here are anime that I watched years ago, like over 6 years ago. It makes me so happy that I can still find anime like 100 Girlfriends or Pretty Cure or Tanya or Reincarnated as a Sword that still just like captivate me in such a special way. It makes me happy that I can still find anime that just blow me away in ways that I don't expect. And I love anime. I can't wait to do this more. I can't wait to keep growing my list of completed anime and see how far I go. Can't wait to explore more magical girl stuff. Here, let me put this in here really quick first. Okay. Can't wait to watch more magical girl stuff, especially. I have an entire like list of magical girl anime that I want to watch and eventually cover on this channel. And I want to become a magical girl expert because I just think I'm gonna be super interested in it. And a Pretty Cure expert. I want to be a Pretty Cure expert for sure. I love anime. I can't wait to make more of these in the future, a couple years down the line when I've added more. And I'm just so happy. This is it's just you find so many cool things when you're watching anime. You find so many cool shows. You find so many cool. The thing about anime is that it's awesome because it spans so many genres that there's something for everybody. I don't think there's a single person on the planet that would not like that. There is not some anime out there that they would like because because it stretches across all different genres and it covers so many different things, so many different topics, so many unique ideas that there is something for everyone. And I hope you've come to learn a little bit more about me by my tastes, and coming to see that I have some very specific tastes when it comes to anime, and I can't wait to see what else is out there that I just haven't discovered yet, to see what other amazing anime I'll find that I just never thought that I would come across. Because so many of these anime are just like, I just stumbled on them. Like Angel Beats. Angel Beats, I just randomly decided to scroll Netflix one day and found out about it. And it was like, oh, it's really good. Fucking amazing anime that you can just find. Kakegurui, I took a chance, watched it, blah, blah, blah. There's so many anime out there that I can't wait to see what else I come to discover and see what other gems that I find that I'll be able to put up here with the rest. This is a particularly special one. These are 4 anime that just like captivated me in such a special, unique way that I've never really felt before. And I cannot wait to see if there's anything else that will get to go up here. I mean, Pretty Cure made it up there, and I finished that like only a couple months ago. So, we'll find out. And then you'll get to find out when I make a tier list. So yeah, I hope you learned some stuff about me, and I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe to see more. And I will see you in the next one. Love, love.